good, Chris. Whoa, whoa.
Holy oh my god.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today I've got a collection of clips ranging from alien sightings to glitches in our matrix that may just leave you shocked, yet craving more. Ready? Let's jump in. What would you do if you were out exploring the woods and came across a creature such as this? Yes, I did say creature, and anyone who has watched Lord of the Rings would understand the reference. This creature was reportedly captured roaming a Chinese valley. The creature was found crouched, but only for a short while, as it did its best to get away from those filming it. We're not exactly sure if it knew it was being filmed. One thing that we however know for sure is that it didn't like it one bit. So what is it? Well, no one is really sure. The Chinese thought it was a Jiangxi when they saw it, but the appearance and movement didn't match what they knew about the Jiangxi. For those unfamiliar with the term, also known as the hopping vampire or hopping zombie, is a reanimated corpse from Chinese folklore known for its stiff hopping movements and its thirst for the life force of the living. This didn't look stiff, and it was too shy to be one. One creature, however, fits this description: Gollum. Anyone who has watched The Lord of the Rings or read the books is familiar with the character that was cursed into its grotesque appearance with its emaciated form, pale skin, luminous eyes, and jagged teeth. Up until this time, we've always thought it to be fictional, so what could be going on here? Intrigued by this discovery, I went digging around and discovered even more news on Gollum-looking creatures. This sighting was also captured in the valleys of Beijing. Unlike the first one, this one had huge ears and moved rather quickly. On second thought, I think the first one is also capable of moving quickly. The difference is in the shyness, at least those are my thoughts. This was allegedly captured by a tourist who was exploring the valleys of Huairu, located north of Chinese capital. According to the tourist, he was taking a short break when he noticed the creature suddenly appear. The sighting has caused quite a stir among locals in the tourist community. Personally, it's stirring up thoughts within me as well. Why are there Gollum-like creatures appearing in China? Is there something in China we're not aware of? Is the Gollum-like creature to the Chinese what Bigfoot is to the Americans? So many questions. Either way, what do you think about sightings? As we all know, gravity is one of the fundamental forces of nature that plays a crucial role in our daily lives on Earth. It's the force that holds everything together and keeps us grounded. However, I recently stumbled upon some intriguing footage that has left me feeling confused. In the clip, a hand is seen grabbing a strange piece of stick that's shaped like a spiral. The stick is then placed under running water, and to everyone's surprise, it begins to spin as it moved upward while still under the running water. While I'm no science whiz, I doubt this follows the law of physics. Unfortunately, our resident scientist is out of the studio investigating a phenomena we intended to show in our next clip, so he can't be of help. Can any of you help? Is this some kind of optical illusion or trick of the camera? Or is there really a scientific explanation for the phenomenon? Please share your thoughts. For some time now, a ranch owner has been hearing strange noises on his property, which left him feeling unsettled. As a result, he decided to investigate and set up a camera to capture any activity that might be causing the noises. He initially thought it could be coyotes, but what he found on reviewing the footage was quite unexpected. To his surprise, the footage showed a strange-looking creature that seemed emaciated, with a very thin neck. The creature was peering inside the room through the window, and its appearance was quite unsettling. Naturally, he was perplexed and posted the footage on our paranormal platform. Some thought it had to be aliens, while many thought it was nothing more than an attempt for 5 or 10 minutes of fame. Critically look at the clip again and share what you think. Look at these magnificent creatures. I know what some of you are thinking. This must be AI. Well, it's not. It turns out these birds are pretty much very, very real. They're called the Andean condor. They are a massive bird species that can have a wingspan of up to 10 feet, 3 meters or more, making them one of the largest flying birds in the world. They have black feathers that cover most of their bodies, but their wings boast white markings that make for a striking visual contrast. They have distinctive white ruffs of feathers around the necks, which are particularly noticeable when they're in flight. On their bald heads, they have colorful fleshy wattles that add to their regal appearance. Sadly, despite being awe-inspiring sights, the Andean condor is a vulnerable species that are facing numerous threats. Due to habitat loss, poaching, and poisoning, their numbers are rapidly declining. Sad, huh? Cloning has always been a fascinating yet controversial topic. It's a subject many avoid for obvious reasons. This next clip might change their opinion, though. You see it too, right? A factory producing silicon human heads, torsos, limbs, and other body parts. Isn't it amazing how detailed and realistic they look? The movement of the robotic upper torso gives me the heebie-jeebies with its lifelike movements and gestures. While I see what these could be used for, I can't help but wonder if it's safe to even have them. I mean, anyone could be impersonated using these cloned body parts. One second thought, how do we know that's not already happening? After all, we've got some world leaders acting weird and not like themselves every now and then. If these things are truly being used to impersonate others, then perhaps we need to be extra careful. What do you think, though? Do you think that that's a possibility, or am I just being a conspiracy theorist? Please share your thoughts. Do mermaids really exist? Millions before us have debated and tried to find an answer to this question. Even Christopher Columbus was not exempted as he documented encounters with what is believed to be mermaids. Recently, someone recorded this footage of what appears to be a mermaid in the sea. Although the creature was far away, its features are still clearly visible. It had the lower body of a fish and the upper body of a human. While this may have been exciting some years ago, given the current state of AI and deep fakes, we have to ask, do you think this is real? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Next, we've got a rather unusual discovery. Take a look. Someone posted this clip on the internet showcasing a crash site that was being closely guarded by men in uniforms. A second look, and you'd realize that the object they seem to be guarding is in no way terrestrial. In other words, it doesn't look like it belongs on our planet. But how is this possible? Did the government run into a UFO and decide to transport it? Then again, if it's the government, it would be done in secrecy, so no one sees it. Unless, of course, they want us to know there are aliens and they've got things belonging to these aliens. Personally, I don't think that's the case. If it was, it would be on every major news outlet. It was at this point in my confusion that a team member mentioned the possibility of it being a movie set. Why didn't I think of that? After all, Hollywood is known for creating elaborate sets and props that simulate otherworldly scenarios, and it's not unusual for such productions to have security personnel controlling access to these sets. The presence of uniformed guards could imply that it's a high-budget production that requires extra security measures. That's what we're thinking, but let us know what your thoughts are. In recent times, there have been numerous reports of creatures that have been found and suspected of being alien or extraterrestrial origin. While some humans dream of meeting aliens, one guy's out there actually transforming himself to look like aliens, and one such individual is currently undergoing a project to transform himself into an alien. He's aptly named his endeavor the Black Alien Project, and has undergone multiple surgeries to modify his body to resemble that of an extraterrestrial being. As part of his transformation, the man has tattooed nearly 90% of his body with black ink and has also altered his lips to give them an inhuman appearance. His upper lip, in particular, bears a striking resemblance to that of an alien. Looking at the progress he's made so far, it can be said that his project is looking quite promising. So while he may not hail from the stars above, he's certainly making waves down here on Earth with his unique project. What are your thoughts on his transformation? Usually when you hear of haunted houses, it's of people moving into a house that's already haunted, or perhaps an incident that could have caused the haunting. But I stumbled upon this strange footage.
This is a video my friend sent me.
Move the crisp. Whoa! Whoa!
You'll have seen me tag him. His name's King Smithy.
This man, however, has been living in his apartment for 10 years with no issues whatsoever till now. Without intending to, he captured this eerie experience on camera.
Pushing it, it like indents the packet. No, that's just freaky, man.
Hello?
He was in the living room going about his normal day when he noticed a pack of chips moving on its own on the ground. There was no one else in the house with him at the moment, and there was no windy situation either. So how is this bag of chips moving on the floor? It's like an unknown force, but how is this possible? A commenter was rather skeptical and believed that this was just an orchestrated hoax. Others believe this is a ghost, others also say it's a demon. A particular commenter said this: could be an entity that just shows up because someone in the area opened a portal. What do you think? Is there some credibility to this story, or is it nothing more than an attempt for his 5 minutes of fame?
This is a video my friend sent me.
Move the crisp. Whoa! Whoa!
You'll have seen me tag him. His name's King Smithy.
Everyone loves their aerial drone clips, but sometimes if you are very attentive, you'll see what others have missed. The next clip is no exception. This was supposed to be ordinary footage of a mountain, but someone slowed the clip and noticed something rather odd. A glitch appeared for a moment and then disappeared, leaving behind an oddly shaped craft that lasted for only a second. Could this enigmatic glitch be evidence of a UFO with a cloaking device momentarily revealing itself before retreating into the shadows? I'd like to think that's a tantalizing possibility given the long history of sightings and encounters with unidentified flying objects. Either that, or someone's playing the editing game with us and passing it off as the real thing. Without more information, it's tough to say for certain. Perhaps it's merely a trick of the light or a glitch in the footage itself, rather than a visitation from beings beyond our understanding. What's your take? Let us know in the comments section.
Holy. Oh my god. Yo, come look at this. Look at that, dude.
A man shared this footage he'd taken in the sky right above a residential area. It was a saucer-shaped object that was flying in the sky. The object moved slowly and steadily for a few moments before coming to a stop. It remained stationary in the sky for several seconds before suddenly accelerating and disappearing from view at a staggering speed. Some people think the video isn't real because these days it's pretty common to use computer tricks to make things look real even when they're not. But then some believe in the authenticity of the sighting, pointing to the sheer improbability of fabricating such a convincing encounter. After all, stranger things have happened in the realm of UFO sightings and unexplained phenomena. What's your take?
Holy. Oh my god. Yo, come look at this.
No, this is no alien. This is actually a species of bird on our planet. If you're expecting me to tell you which, I won't be doing that because it's our bonus clip of the day. This is your opportunity to show us how much you know about the Earth as we search for signs of life out there. Tell us what bird this is and give us one fact about it. The best answer gets a feature and shout out in our next episode. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Start your answer with the word bonus so we can easily identify it. All the best. There is a widely accepted belief among various cultures in the scientific community that civilizations existed before our time. Over the years, evidence of such past civilizations have been found in the form of various artifacts.
This one really isn't my story, but we'll talk about it briefly. Anybody in here know what that is? Okay, so we got at least one person in here that knows what it is. Let me show you another picture, close-up of it.
Recently, a cave explorer made a fascinating discovery in a private cave located in Manti, Utah. The explorer came across two rocks in the cave, one of which was glowing. The other rock, which was found to be an unusual stone, resembled an ostrich egg but was made of rock. The explorer didn't touch the glowing rock but took flakes from the strange stone for testing. Upon testing, several things were found in the stone, including human blood that dates back as far as 3000 BC. This enigmatic artifact raises many questions. Could it be a relic of a bygone era lost to the annals of time? You tell me.
I can't tell you those kind of things on any of this stuff. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know who owns it. I know who had access to it when I saw it, but I can't even give you that information. That's not for me to give.
Someone shared this footage. It was a video of a disc-like craft being chased by a jet. Unfortunately, the exact location where the incident was captured remains unknown. The jet seems to be in hot pursuit of the UFO, which has led some commenters to speculate that the UFOs are government-made and that the jet is accompanying the craft. This would explain why the jet is so close to the UFO. However, others believe that the footage is entirely fake and that it's been doctored to make it appear as if the UFO is being chased by a jet. It's worth noting that there have been numerous instances in the past where people have claimed to have captured footage of UFOs, but these have later been debunked as hoaxes or natural phenomena. Members of my team think that might be the case here, but then again, nothing's false until it can be proven so, right? Anyway, what are your thoughts? Do you believe demons exist? No? Then how do you explain this? The screams you hear are from the devices of an explorer that crashed into a water body. He'd gone out to explore the great outdoors and document the adventures when he suddenly lost control of his drone and it crashed into the waters. Try as he may, he couldn't get it out and gave up. Upon returning home, he checked the last recorded footage on the cloud, and surely enough, it was the last moments of his devices. He doesn't believe what he heard were the sounds of his devices. No, they sounded hellish and demonic to him. He then uploaded it online, and some sided with him, saying that they'd experienced the same thing before. The majority, however, told him the sounds, although sounding like screams, are definitely coming from his drone being in the water. When you think about it, that sounds very logical, but maybe, just maybe, that's what the demons want us to think. What are your thoughts, though? A peculiar craft was recently spotted in the sky, hovering among the clouds. The object is disc-shaped and has several rotating circles around its perimeter. As it moves across the sky, the circles keep rotating at a steady pace, giving the impression of a machine in motion. Witnesses describe the object as completely silent and moving with great agility, unlike any aircraft they've ever seen. Some have speculated that it might be a new kind of unidentified flying object, while others believe it could be a secretive military aircraft. The take of my team is that this has to be a hoax. I don't agree with them, though. Until we can prove beyond reasonable doubt that it's false, I don't think we should call it that. What do you think?
Pero usted está en el patio, pues. Yeah.
Now, this lady is holding a small rock in her hand. The rock has this intricate design on it. According to the story, she said she saw the rock fall from the sky and that it even felt hot to the touch. Some think it's a piece of a meteorite formed in space and hurled toward Earth through the atmosphere. If that were true, it would make this rock an incredibly rare and fascinating object, as it would contain clues about the early formation of our solar system and the wider universe. Others, however, speculate that the rock may be something more extraordinary. They suggest that it could be a fragment of a celestial object originating from a distant planet or even another galaxy. If this is the case, the rock could hold secrets about the origins of life elsewhere in the universe and provide crucial evidence for scientists seeking to understand the mysteries of deep space. While I pondered what the possibilities could be, I noticed something about the woman's fingers, and surely enough, other members of my team did too. We checked the comments section, and someone had too. Can you see it? No? Editor, let's bring up the comment right now. You see it now, don't you? Her fingernails have dark dirt in them that looks to be similar color as the rock. It's made everyone who noticed it think she created the rock herself and passed it off as being extraterrestrial. What do you think? Now, look at that. A huge serpent at the mouth of a woodland. It's grey with a pink fin-like thing on its head. Quite the intimidating sight, wouldn't you agree? But when you take a closer look, this creature has got that oddly whimsical look to it, almost like it's been plucked straight out of a cartoon. Quite unreal, don't you think? This has led many to conclude the whole thing is fake, and the audio in the background is just there to create the impression that it's real. I'm not buying it though, but maybe that's just me. What do you think? This heartwarming incident captured on camera shows that animals can display compassion towards each other. It's all started when a poor cat fell into a body of water and was struggling to keep its head above. Fortunately, a dog noticed the cat's plight and quickly jumped into the water without any hesitation. The dog then swam toward the cat and allowed it to clamber onto its back. The cat, now standing on the dog's back, was able to climb out of the water safely. The dog's selfless act of kindness towards the helpless cat shows that animals can be incredibly compassionate towards each other. While many found this heartwarming, a number of them were upset and wondered why the person filming did nothing. I can't fault them for thinking so, but it doesn't take away the fact that this was rather heartwarming anyway. A group of cave explorers came across this eerie scene in a cave. In the middle of the cave, there's a pile of human skeletons stacked like pillars. The old bones tell a sad story of something bad that happened long ago. But that's not all. As the explorers keep going, they find another room full of bones, skulls, leg bones, ribs, all mixed together like a scary puzzle of death. What happened in this lonely place to leave behind such a scary scene? Was it once a graveyard where people buried their loved ones, or maybe something worse hides in the darkness, waiting for someone brave enough to find out? This next one was sent in by a subscriber of this channel. Just a quick reminder that you too can send in your clip. According to him, he captured it on a trail cam he'd set in the woods near his house. It was meant to capture wildlife, but instead it captured a life that, although wild, didn't fit your typical description of wildlife. There on the screen is a girl moving across the forest floor with the fluidity and grace that's almost otherworldly. But here's the thing, she's not just strolling along like your average hiker. No. She's running on all fours. Her movements so animalistic that at first glance you might mistake it for just another woodland creature. But hold on, it gets even stranger. The girl, dressed in human clothes but sporting an animal mask and a tail, effortlessly leaps into the air as if defying gravity itself. It's a scene that's as mesmerizing as it is baffling. Could it be a person with inhuman abilities, or is this some type of prank stunt being pulled on the trail cam owner? If you think that was weird, take a look at this creature someone found washed ashore on a beach. It looks wet and it's hard to tell if it's hairy. It had these strange-looking lines that looked like they were opening on its body with hairs sticking out of it. Now here's where it gets spooky. You watch kind of fascinated and freaked out as the whole creature seems to be moving, not just from the waves, but like it's alive and breathing right there on the beach. So what is this thing? Is it a new sea creature nobody's seen before, washed up on the shore by chance? Or maybe it's something even crazier, like an alien from a sci-fi movie? Share your thoughts. Alright, let's dial down the drama a notch. Imagine you're scrolling through some footage and stumble upon a group of people in uniforms gathered around this large metallic sphere that's appeared out of nowhere on the beach. It's definitely an unusual sight, no denying that. The sphere itself is pretty straightforward. It's big, metallic, and has an almost otherworldly sheen to it. But beyond its appearance, there's not much else to go on. No clear explanation of how it got there or what it's doing on the beach. Now, some folks are tossing around the idea that it could be of alien origin, but let's not jump to conclusions just yet. It's just as likely that it's some kind of man-made structure or even a piece of equipment that's been washed ashore. But hey, who knows? Maybe there's more. You might want to brace yourself for this next one because not everyone can stomach it. If you can't handle lots of insects, move ahead by a few seconds so you can miss this clip completely. Now, I don't know what this is. There are people all gathered around a peculiar sight, a pile of food laid out before a statue, while insects buzz about in a chaotic frenzy. Now, at first glance, it might seem like a scene from a surreal dream or perhaps a feverish nightmare. But as you watch, you notice something curious. The people in the room don't seem the least bit bothered by the buzzing insects or the seemingly odd display before them. So what in the world is going on here? Some might be quick to jump to conclusions, speculating that this is some form of worship or ritual, with the food being offered as a sacred offering to the statue. After all, stranger things have happened in the name of faith, right? But then again, it's also possible that there's a more practical explanation at play here. Perhaps these folks are simply unfazed by the presence of insects, either due to familiarity or some other reason. Or maybe there's a cultural aspect to this scene that we're not privy to, where the coexistence of humans, insects, and offerings is perfectly normal. This looks like some sort of apocalypse. In the footage is the moon looming ominously closer to Earth. Now, before you start stocking up on canned goods and building your underground bunker, it's important to exercise a healthy dose of skepticism. I don't know about you, but it all seems a bit too, fake. It seems more like a movie than real life, and the quality of the video is kinda questionable too. While it will be disappointing if this is edited, it wouldn't be so surprising. After all, the internet is chock full of doctored footage and elaborate hoaxes designed to dupe unsuspecting viewers. The last thing I want, is to mislead you guys. But then again, maybe I'm being too much of a skeptic. What do you guys think? Technology and AI are advancing so fast that it is almost terrifying. Just take a look at this display in Vegas. The footage was taken by a passenger on a plane. He was filming what you see on your screen. You can see that the display starts with a round thing, and then as the image changes, we see a bottle image from it, and move upwards, it looks almost real, like a giant bottle, but it's fake. It's cool, sure, but it's also a tad bit terrifying, not because it's dangerous, but because it's unreal what we can do with technology these days. The scary part is that AI is basically involved in a lot of things of late and has become like that overachiever student acing every subject. So what are your thoughts on this? Is this really in Vegas? If it is, have you seen it? If you haven't, do you find it cool? Tell us in the comments. On that note, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now before I send that creature after you. On a more serious note, it really helps out a ton and gives us the opportunity to keep making these videos for you. So please do so and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you very much. While driving late at night, a diver came across a strange figure on the side of the road. The figure wasn't that big, but it looked very scary and eerie. It spotted a pair of glowing eyes that resembled flames. The figure did not resemble any type of human, leaving all who saw it with a wide range of theories and speculations on what the figure could be. One theory that runs through is that we are seeing what could be the legendary and mysterious Mothman. While I want it to be, it could also be just someone in a convincing Halloween costume looking for a ride. What do you think? And for our final capture, we have one that's left us scratching our heads. Have a look. Yeah, that's a naked man walking through a field in broad daylight. I mean, the person has a face of a man with facial hair and all, but his hair is long and he appears to be wearing a woman's crop top with what looks like a hostler around his waist and a pair of shoes. He also seems to have a walkie-talkie on. Apart from that, you can see his butt cheeks hanging out in the sun. Who is this and why is he half naked? While our first instinct might be to think of a prankster or someone engaging in unusual behavior, we must keep an open mind and consider other possibilities. Could this be an individual who's lost or disorientated, or perhaps they're part of a performance or unconventional artistic expression? There's a myriad of potential explanations that we can explore, but share your thoughts, we'd love to know. Now, what do we have here? Someone captured this footage of a creature in the woods resembling a hedgehog, but with its own peculiar twist. This little enigma is black with yellow spikes on its head and a mix of white and black spikes on its back, creating a distinctive appearance. It's jumpy with fewer spikes than a hedgehog and a tad smaller in size. Just in case you're wondering what this might be, allow me to introduce you to the mysterious woodland dweller, the tenrec. These creatures, native to Madagascar and parts of Africa, belong to the Tenrecidae family and share some similarities with hedgehogs, but with their own unique characteristics. While driving through a deserted land in the middle of nowhere at night, a man came across this, a burning humanoid figure coming from the shadows walking along the path. As if the scene wasn't eerie enough, local stories add another layer to this mystery. People in the area tell tales of a flaming witch. By that, I mean a ghostly figure known to roam the land covered in flames. But those aren't real, right? Or are they? Well, you've seen the footage yourselves. Please share your thoughts and experiences, if any. I'm particularly interested in the experience, or this one. Would you look at that? On a talk show, the world's tallest man, Kozin, and the smallest woman, Amj, were the guests. Sultan Kozin from Turkey is the Guinness World Record holder for being the tallest living man. He owes his towering height to acromegaly, a condition caused by the excessive production of growth hormones. And then there is Jyoti Amj from India, who holds the record for the smallest woman. Her petite stature is due to a type of primordial dwarfism, a condition marked by significantly smaller size. Just look at the height difference. I mean, this is incredible. They make the most of their conditions. Hopefully, this steers the disability conversation toward a positive light. What are we looking at here? This strange exhibition in a museum has left everyone perplexed. We can see what looks like 3 human hands attached to a bicycle. The hands are covered in black, long gloves, so we do not know what lies beneath them. 2 of the arms are on the ground, I guess serving as the legs, while the third one is in the sky making the rock on sign with its fingers. It's like someone unleashed a surreal puppet show on an unsuspecting audience. Speaking of the audience, they're not just intrigued, but downright baffled. The covered arms making the whole scene a mystery, making it impossible to tell if these limbs are mechanically crafted or, dare I say it, possessed by some otherworldly force. And you know it's got people talking when the speculation meter swings all the way to the possessed object theory. But what do you guys say this is? Venturing to the beach on a sweltering afternoon, a man sought respite from the heat. But what he stumbled upon left him more heated than the scorching sun. Among some rocks under a seaweed, he saw something strange, so he picked it up, only to come face to face with a miniature skeleton of what looked like a mermaid. The skeletal remains had a combination of a human upper torso and a fish-like lower part. The shock of this unexpected encounter made the man promptly drop the mysterious carcass. Now here's where it gets juicy. Do you think this is a long-awaited confirmation that mermaids are more than just legends, or could it be an elaborate prank played on unsuspecting beachgoers? UAPs, UFOs, and aliens have become topics that have made their way into mainstream media in recent times. Although there hasn't been any evidence to prove their existence and authenticity, there is a class of people who believe they're real. Now take a look at this footage, for instance. There is what looks like a cloaked craft in the sky, and you can even see the silhouette of someone walking inside. Sometimes light can play tricks on your eyes, so some believe that this is just Fate Morgana, a trick of the light. However, there are some who are convinced that we're looking at a genuine cloaked UAP in the sky. What do you think? Training animals to perform tricks is nothing new. We see a lot of street performers with dogs, birds, and cats. Some even train seals and dolphins to put on a good show. However, here we have someone who claims he can train insects. In this strange insect extravaganza, the man uses his hands to direct the bee, and the tiny performer follows suit. The bee rolls a flat object on the table with a precision that could rival well-trained pets, navigating a straight line without losing focus. It's a spectacle that raises eyebrows and prompts a whole new set of questions. Can insects truly be trained to perform tricks, or is this a case of clever camera work and illusion? Let's take a look at this next footage. Here we have a creature that looks like a collection of tangled twigs. Now, imagine walking into a place and seeing twigs slithering about. If that doesn't scream scary and creepy, then I don't know what would. Now, the big question on everybody's mind: What in the world is this thing? Some are throwing around the idea that it might be a parasite or some kind of symbiotic creature on the prowl, wiggling about in search of a host. I mean, who wouldn't be a little unnerved by a creature that's black, wiggly, and seemingly on a mission? With little to no information on this thing, we're only left with speculations on what this could be. But what do you guys think we're dealing with here? Share your thoughts in the comment section. A hiker while in the mountains spotted something strange walking in the forest below. At first glance, the figure resembled a human, but upon closer inspection, subtle indications of dog fur all over the body emerge. The tantalizing possibility arises: could this elusive being be the legendary Bigfoot? Looking at the size of the creature from that distance, there is a high chance that is a Bigfoot, but then again, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt because humans can be very dubious sometimes. What's your take on this mountain encounter? A genuine Bigfoot sighting or just a brush with the shadows of the wild? Or a hoax? Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, can you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send a Bigfoot after you now, would you? Millions of fish are washing up on the shores of Hakodate, Japan, and people are getting worried. Quite recently, there was news about releasing radioactive waste from a nuclear power plant in Japan into the ocean. This has led people speculating and wondering if there is any connection between this and the release of radioactive waste. There are some groups of people who hold a more religious explanation for this fish situation. They believe that this might be a sign of the end of times, as per prophecies in their religions. What do you think? Next, we visit Florida, where individuals were greeted with an unexpected yet vibrant display in their skies. Take a look.
Look!
Yes, you're seeing right. There appears to be a bright orange light behind the clouds in the sky, and that naturally had the whole place lit orange. Here's the twist. The mysterious glowing ball in the sky isn't just hanging there, it starts moving, making everyone wonder what's going on. As it comes out from behind the clouds, it turns out to be a bright orange orb, and nobody can easily explain it. Some in the paranormal community think it's the government responsible for using their blue beam technology, but that's hard to prove on our side, even though we have our theories. What do you think about the whole thing, though? A day of carefree fun turned into a spine-tingling moment of fear for this group of kids. As they frolicked on a field with one of them recording the merriment, little did they know that an eerie surprise was creeping their way. Right there, on the horizon, a strange creature began to crawl towards them. The moment they caught sight of it, sheer terror gripped their heart and their joyful shouts turned into panic screams. It's a reaction that's palpable even through the screen. Now, when we zoom in on the footage, the question lingers. What in the world could that be? Skeptics have offered their 2 cents, suggesting it might be a hoax, especially because the dog in the video appears strangely unfazed by the creature. After all, dogs tend to be quite vigilant and reactive in such situations. But here lies the enigma. Was this merely a group of kids playing an elaborate prank, or did they unwittingly capture genuine footage of something truly bizarre? Tell us what you think. In this video clip, an unidentified individual armed with a camera descends the staircase, capturing a dark figure seated in an armchair. The living room is made up of a television on its stand and a few armchairs. As the recorder moves closer, the dark shadow figure suddenly stands up, walks forward without turning, and then vanishes into thin air, revealing a dark humanoid figure resembling a female. The individual filming searches for the intruding presence, moving the camera around and exploring other parts of the house, but finds nothing. What do you think that presence was, and do you think there's a possible reason it was there? Tell us in the comments section. The concept of a matrix glitch often emerges when people encounter inexplicable or seemingly contradictory situations that challenge our understanding of reality. Take a look at this footage, for instance. A man is swinging in a chair, his arm seemingly hooked into the chair's arm. However, as soon as he stands up, his hand is magically out of the chair's hook. This is what people consider a glitch in the Matrix. Although skeptics may think that it could be a trick of perspective, many in the paranormal community think we're looking at a modern glitch. Having seen it, what do you think it is? In this recent video, someone captured a peculiar light bouncing around in the night sky. Some suggest it could be an ether ship plasma energy, evoking thoughts of extraterrestrial phenomena, a mysterious craft navigating the celestial canvas. Skeptics opted for more grounded explanations. Some stated that it might be an unconventional aircraft, atmospheric anomalies, or the interplay of light reflecting off earthly objects. What's your perspective on this cosmic light display? Is it the dance of an ether ship, a celestial energy phenomenon, or is there a more earthly explanation for this captivating show in the night sky? Here we have a peculiar reptilian creature emerging from the depths of a river, although calling it a traditional reptile seems a tad too simplistic. Take a closer look at this alligator-like beast and you'll notice some distinct oddities. Its tail, for instance, is exceptionally thick and its front end appears significantly shorter than the rear. This unusual gator seems to be moving horizontally, propelled by the sheer power of the robust tail. Indeed, it's a sight that's both strange and, dare I say, a tad freaky. Could this be a mere quirk of nature, a defect in an otherwise familiar species like the alligator, or might we be witnessing the emergence of an entirely new and intriguing creature, as yet undiscovered by science? The natural world never ceases to amaze us, and this is just one more piece in the grand puzzle of our planet's biodiversity. You don't always see an ape stare at a human like this. Perhaps it's not one you ever imagined or thought of, but there it is. What do you think is going on in the mind of this ape as it stares strangely at the reporter? Is it harboring good thoughts or perhaps something a bit more ominous? Judging solely by its facial expression, one might indeed feel a touch of trepidation. The eyes, after all, are known to be windows to the soul, or in this case, to the thoughts within. As for its current circumstances, being taken out of its natural habitat and confined to a makeshift home, one could imagine that this fellow might harbor some rather strong opinions about the matter. The desire for freedom, perhaps, or the wish to retire from the life of the zoo. It's a poignant reminder of the complexities involved in keeping wildlife in captivity. A similar thing happens in this footage as well. A family was taking a video with their backs turned to the camera when all of a sudden a boy in a blue shirt appeared out of nowhere and climbed the railing. Let's watch that again. Do you see that? There's no sign of him being there until he just pops out of nowhere and climbs the railing. The family, caught up in their own thing, doesn't seem to notice this unexpected addition. Is this just camera angles, or is there another case of a glitch in the matrix? This is definitely too weird to be a coincidence. Someone spotted these two strange white cats looking at him while he was filming. One was sitting behind the other, its head right above the one in front of it. Both were staring so intently at the camera, which he found odd and strange. Not long after, another white cat, identical to the two, came and sat in front of the two with its head positioned beneath the one behind it. All three cats just sitting and watching the camera with an eerie look in strange alignment. What do you think could be going on here? Is it just a coincidence that three white cats decided to ogle a person, or is there something else behind this incident? Perhaps a glitch in the matrix or some sort of omen. Our next adventure takes us to the riverside in Thailand, where an extraordinary spectacle has captivated the villagers. A massive creature with a colorful fin emerges atop the river, drawing the attention of the enthralled audience. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Amidst the gasps and whispers, the villagers are all chanting one name: Naga. In Thai folklore, Naga is a revered sea god, often depicted as a serpent-like deity with mystical powers. But among skeptics, some attributed the sighting to a dragon, drawing upon mythical imagery, while others offered a more pragmatic interpretation, suggesting it could be an oversized fish. What do you think it is? If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribe, or even dropped a comment so far, could you do so now? It goes a long way to help us to make more of these kinds of videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode. Our journey into the mysterious takes another chilling turn as we delve into security footage from a parking lot. The seemingly routine scene unfolds with a van driving by, yet, as it fades from view, an inexplicable event occurs. Out of thin air, a mysterious man materializes in the middle of the parking lot. There was no one there, but after the van drove by, a man appeared out of nowhere and walked away. How was that even possible? Did he teleport there or what? Share your thoughts. For our next footage, you might want to hold on to your hats because we've got some weather drama brewing right in your backyard shed. Imagine this. Someone's just puttering around, maybe looking for a hammer or contemplating the mysteries of life, when, out of nowhere, he or she stumbles upon the meteorological marvel of the century, a mini whirlwind forming inside the shed. There it is, this mini whirlwind, a twirling dance of white smoke coming from the ceiling. I'm no meteorologist, but I'm pretty sure this isn't how things are formed. What could have caused it? Is it natural? Who knew your shed could be the birthplace of weather phenomena? Before we move on to the next one, do tell me something. Would you camp out in an area rumored to have Bigfoots just to prove their existence? Or does this sound like a dumb and unsafe idea? Share your thoughts in the comment section. You know, there are times when I pretend to not know something just so you guys can tell me what it is. Well, this isn't one of those times. I genuinely have no idea what the creature in the next clip is. Perhaps you can help. Does it look like anything that you've ever seen or handled? No one in my team knows what it is, and I certainly don't have an idea what it is either. I've combed the internet, but just didn't know how to describe it to bring it up. Given the fact that the one recording the footage is wearing gloves, I'm pretty sure it's either poisonous or venomous. But what is it really? If you have answers, please share them with us in the comment section. We really want to know. This next footage is one that's certainly no 3D animation. Take a good look at it. We know the cartoons make bears look cuddly et al., but this footage shows us just how dangerous they can be. The footage is from Yellowstone Park, and the bear came out of the woods and suddenly went after the pack ranger on duty. Fortunately for the ranger, he had his vehicle parked nearby, and his vehicle had a gun in it. A few shots into the sky, and the bear was scared off. I wouldn't want to imagine what could have happened if he'd encountered the bear without appropriate equipment or training. I know I've said it before, but I say it again. Be very careful when in bear territory, and if possible, avoid it completely, especially when alone and not trained for such situations. Do you believe in aliens? If you answered no, then be prepared to have that stance challenged. Yes, that's a 9-foot being that was captured at midnight. Around the same time, unidentified objects were seen falling from the sky from a strange flying object that didn't look like any aircraft we have known on the planet. From afar, these unidentified flying objects looked like an array of lights in the sky, just like something you'd expect out of an alien movie. Those who saw it were convinced that they were alien spacecraft. But were they really, though? Well, before I go any further, pause the video and write your thoughts in the comments section. If you're still here, I guess you have written your thoughts. Investigating the footage, we made some profound discoveries. A similar video with the same alien creature was posted at least one day before this whole alien stuff was posted online. The post actually went viral, and that might have motivated the one who used the footage to do so. A closer look at the original poster's hashtag and you see Blender, which is an animating and GI tool. This basically means the whole thing is a hoax, which is a bummer. Still on floating objects, this strange object was found floating in the sky in France, Paris to be specific. It's a vertical black rectangle.
C'est chez moi?
As theories started swirling, some believe it could be the crafty work of artificial intelligence, a digital apparition painted onto the sky. Others with eyes to the extraterrestrial entertain the notion that it might be something alien, perhaps a cosmic visitor making a statement. What's your take on this avant-garde Parisian spectacle? A creation of AI artistry, or a sign of something beyond our earthly comprehension? If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode. Next, you might want to hold onto your sombreros because we've got a celestial spectacle in the Mexican skies that's sparking quite the debate. In the footage, you can see a strange star-shaped object gracefully descending behind some bushes. It's the kind of sight that looks like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. As the footage circulates, opinions started pouring in. Some pragmatic folks suggest it might be a balloon or perhaps a drone, while others with an extraterrestrial flair throw the idea of an alien craft into the mix. But here's where it takes a turn toward the mystical. There are whispers of it being an angel. Yeah, you heard it right. An angelic being descended from the heavens. Evidence-wise, well, there's not much to go on there. But what's your take on this mysterious Mexican sky show? A mere balloon or drone, a potential UFO, or perhaps an angelic visitation? Whilst in an aircraft, someone filmed this strange thing in the sky. It's a glowing circle with white, smoky edges. These things have been appearing all over the world. They look like some sort of portals, but scientists have not yet come out to address them. No official statements, no explanations. It's like the scientific community is just as perplexed as the rest of us, leaving the door wide open for wild theories and endless questions. Now, it's got people buzzing with speculation. Are we witnessing some interdimensional phenomenon? Could these be portals opening up in the sky? And if they're portals, where do they lead to? Embarking on a mysterious journey deep in the woods of Scotland, our attention is drawn to a hunter's startling discovery. At first glance, the creature lying there appears to be some kind of monkey, but as our explorer inches closer, he's hit with a sight that's jaw-dropping than any game he's probably ever hunted. The creature has the ears of a bat, and its mouth is slightly open, showing razor-sharp teeth. This is not a creature that eats fruits for breakfast. Naturally, this discovery has the internet buzzing with speculation. Some folks are throwing around the wild idea that it could be a baby werewolf, while others are leaning toward a hybrid of some sort. So here's the million-dollar question. What in the world is this creature? Is it a character straight out of folklore tales, or did the hunter stumble upon the real deal? Still in Mexico, or rather on the waters of Mexico, sea voyagers bear witness to not one, but 5 water spots. These twisting tall columns of wind descend from the clouds to the water, resembling thin, spinning tubes or ropes hanging down from the heavens. They're like mini tornadoes over the water, a natural spectacle that's both fascinating and formidable. While these watery whirlwinds can be a captivating display of nature's forces, it's crucial to approach them with caution. Water spouts, unpredictable by nature, can unleash strong winds and pose a risk, especially for those on boats.
Shit started coming, man. I was like, what the fuck? I bullshit that, dude. Like, I never saw you this shit ever happened before in my life. Tell me, are they wrapping shit now?
When we say the world is getting stranger by the day, it's no joke. Take a look at this footage, for instance. A man purchased watermelon, and here's what happened. Yup, he's rinsing the watermelon and the skin with the patterns is just peeling off as though it were a sticker. I've always thought of people who say the government was messing with our foods as conspiracy theorists, but with the kind of things I'm seeing of late, I'm tempted to believe them. Perhaps we ought to take this news and research into genetically modified food more seriously than we are. Do you guys think we need to be extra careful with our food? Has anyone encountered something like this? Kindly share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section. I'll be reading. We start off today's episode with this intriguing capture. In it, we see a paranormal enthusiast who was live streaming his stroll through Elms Grove Estates. As he ventured forth, he suddenly felt an eerie presence lingering behind him. You know, that unmistakable sensation of being watched. So without a second thought, he turned his camera to capture whatever might be lurking in the shadows. And what he discovered sent a shiver down his spine. There, concealed in the underbrush, was a creature, not your typical wildlife, but something otherworldly. The gentleman entertains the notion that it could be a Skinwalker or even a Dogman. And honestly, it's not an entirely far-fetched idea. The figure certainly has a human-like stance, but when you examine its upper half, it becomes abundantly clear that this is no ordinary human. Unless, of course, there's someone with a penchant for lurking in the bushes, indulging in a little late-night stalking. But given the circumstances, our team tends to lean toward the possibility that this man found himself in the presence of a paranormal entity. What about you? What do you think? A peculiar figure was recently observed appearing to traverse a metallic structure under the guidance of an illuminating source, all captured during the cover of the night. While the precise location remains shrouded in uncertainty, the setting bears a striking resemblance to a backyard encircled by thick clusters of trees. This enigmatic entity takes on a humanoid form, distinctly discernible throughout its movement. However, its head defies convention, resembling an oversized light bulb affixed to its body. In an abrupt pause, it turns its attention to toward the recorder, who could be heard inquiring about the purpose of this mysterious being. Could this be yet another instance in the ever-enigmatic world of cryptids? You tell us. Watch this footage closely and tell me where the man in the pink shirt came from. Take a look at the footage again. A man in a pink shirt seemingly materializes out of thin air in front of a woman in a costume. He appears to be filming her, and what's more perplexing, neither the woman nor the people around seem to notice his sudden appearance. Is this a glitch in the Matrix, a momentary rift in the fabric of reality where someone crosses over from the unseen? Share your thoughts. Take a journey into the heart of the city, deep underground, where a network of ossuaries hold the remains of around 6 to 7 million people. The footage shows an eerie scene of human skeletons arranged in a meticulous pattern. Back in the 18th century, these catacombs were made to keep the remains of the dead because there was not enough space for burial grounds. The bones of millions were carefully moved underground, creating a surreal space where the deceased could rest in a new way. Is this a place you'd visit? I don't know about you, but I doubt I can bring myself to do this. Some even speculate that it was not a burial place, but a place where large-scale murders were carried out. What do you think, though? The intrigue of cryptids and their elusive nature continues to captivate. Let's dive into this peculiar footage that emerged on Instagram, courtesy of the user TheMovieGuy11 back in March of this year. The story unfolds with the claim that the footage initially captured two creatures in the distance along Yellowstone Creek. The first impression was that these were perhaps two bears taking a stroll. However, upon closer scrutiny, the plot thickened. Upon careful examination, it became clear that the pace and the sheer amount of ground these creatures covered couldn't possibly match that of even the speediest bear. This observation led to the compelling belief that what had been captured was, in fact, a sighting of Bigfoot. When you take a closer look at the size and picture of these mysterious beings, the image becomes even more enigmatic. They appear huge and are seemingly moving about on 2 feet, adding to the intrigue. Once the footage hit the internet, the response was nothing short of intriguing itself. A significant portion of viewers joined the chorus, believing that what they were witnessing was indeed Bigfoot. This notion isn't too surprising, given that Yellowstone Creek is a known hotspot for Bigfoot sightings, adding an extra layer of mystery to this already puzzling encounter. This image has been a mystery ever since it surfaced on the internet. At first glance, we see a dug-up hole, a rather mundane sight, but it's what lies beyond that piques our curiosity. Further down the frame, there's a peculiar blurry figure. Now, the intrigue deepens. It could be one of two things: a swift culprit fleeing the scene, hence the blurriness, or it might just be something altogether different, an enigmatic entity, if you will. The possibilities here are as varied as they are puzzling. Is it a creature making a quick escape from its excavation project, leaving behind a tantalizing blur? Or could it be the ethereal form of something beyond our earthly comprehension? You tell us. A motorbike rider was cruising through a deserted area when he came across this unusual sight: a lifeless goat seated like a human leaning against a pole. Now, this certainly isn't your usual sight, so what could be happening here? Some link it to a dark connection, hinting at a possible involvement in a satanic ritual where symbolism and ritualistic acts are thought to possess mysterious powers. Others connect it to the realm of voodoo, a practice deeply rooted in various cultures that involves manipulating energies and forces. But what or who do you think could have arranged this surreal seating of the goat? Is it dark arts, a venture into the occult, or maybe a mischievous prankster with a theatrical touch? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now, what do we have here? This strange creature was found floating in the sea by some fisher folks. Despite their experience at sea, they claim that they've never seen anything like this. It had 2 humanoid heads and the rest of its body looked like it was made of tentacles. But then again, it looked nothing like an octopus. Naturally, they uploaded this online and it spread like wildfire since. Some think we might be dealing with a sea monster with 2 heads, whilst some are wondering if it's a sea monster we're yet to document. Julius believes there must be a logical explanation to this, whilst Aaron thinks it's a sign we have been judged by the sea gods. What's your take on this? Next, our focus lies on an intriguing Trailcam capture dating back a few years, which has left us perplexed and curious. Have a look. As we gaze upon the daytime image, we're confronted with a blurred figure, a spectral presence that defies easy identification. The Trailcam, situated on a remote farm, has captured an enigma that has left the most astute minds puzzled. Some have ventured to speculate that this blurry apparition could be a scarecrow, dressed in a brown leather jacket and an old farmer's hat, dutifully standing guard over the fields. However, this theory is quickly quashed as scarecrows are known to be stationary, and there are no such figures in the vicinity of the Trailcam. Others have suggested that the figure could be the farmer himself, diligently tending to his crops. Yet, this notion is swiftly dismissed by the farmer, who attests that he didn't venture to that part of the farm on the day the image was captured. A riddle within a riddle, it seems. The realm of the unknown, however, does not easily succumb to conventional explanations. As whispers of Bigfoot sightings and strange occurrences resonate in the area, the possibility of a cryptid presence cannot be ignored. The farmer's accounts of missing fruits and small animals add weight to the theory, enticing our imagination towards the mysterious realm of Bigfoot. On a lighter note, whimsical speculation also suggests the presence of Swiper the Fox from the beloved animated series Dora the Explorer, perhaps on a playful quest for a hidden treasure chest. While this notion may elicit a smile, the true identity of the blurred figure remains shrouded in uncertainty. I'd like to know what your thoughts are, though. What do you think we could be dealing with here? Tell us in the comments section. The discovery of human-like tracks in Missouri by a hiker is truly fascinating and may lead to speculation about their origin. The combination of human-like features and a size larger than what is typical for a human suggests the possibility of an enormous creature leaving these tracks. Given the description of the prints and their depth, it's reasonable to consider the likelihood of a large and powerful being responsible for them. One creature that fits such a description is Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch. Given the various reports of Bigfoot sightings and tracks surfacing from various parts of North America, including Missouri, I can't help but wonder if these creatures are up to something. Could they be plotting? Do we have to be worried? These are questions I can't seem to get out of my head. But what do you think of these discoveries? A curious individual casting a line into the calm pond came across a strange occurrence. Take a look. At first, we're introduced to what looks like a square-shaped organism peacefully floating on the water's surface. Within seconds, the once solid entity undergoes a perplexing transformation. The square-shaped organism disintegrates, breaking down into a cascade of tiny balls that scatter into the water. The sudden and surreal spectacle begs the question, what could this be? Is it a natural phenomenon, a unique organism with a brief and fleeting existence, or does it suggest something more mysterious beneath the pond's surface? While I want to think those are alien ships, Julius, our geek, states that we may actually be looking at a slow-feeding mechanism for the plants. While that does sound logical, you have to agree that it's less exciting. Anyway, what do you guys think? Strange creatures or slow-dissolving food? Share your thoughts. A woman was piloting a chopper over the coastal lands of Hawaii when all of a sudden the engine failed. The craft almost tipped over and fell. But here's where the plot takes a thrilling turn. This woman is no ordinary pilot. In a split-second decision, she engages in auto-rotation, a daring maneuver that allows her to navigate the failing chopper safely to the beach below. Talk about a close call. Oh no, this is just heartbreaking. The owner of the Trailcam must have been excited to check out the wild animal footage, but instead they stumbled upon this heart-wrenching image. In the photo, there's a dog with its head stuck in a container. Can you imagine how scared and helpless that poor pup must feel? It's likely a stray dog just trying to find some food in someone's trash, but things took a terrible turn when its head got trapped in that container. It's heartbreaking to think that the dog is probably struggling to eat or drink with that thing stuck on its head. And what's worse, the container has been on for days. Can you imagine how hungry and thirsty that dog must be? I only hope and pray that the container isn't airtight, or else the poor thing could be in even more danger. The owner of the camera tried to find the dog and help, but no luck so far. I can only hope and wish that someone out there found this sweet pup and gave it the care and love it deserves. It breaks my heart to think of that poor dog suffering all alone. Let's keep all our fingers crossed and send positive vibes that someone came to the rescue and gave this furry friend a second chance at a better life. Next, we have this footage, which comes from a subscriber of this page. He believes his Trailcam captured a Skinwalker as it was reverting to its human form. Have a look. In the capture, we see a forest area with what looks like a human, specifically a man covered in mud centered in the image. He appears to be moving from the left to the right. Looking at the scenery, it's highly unlikely that anyone would be roaming the area naked without clothes and covered in mud, unless, of course, they somehow transformed from a wild animal to a human. Logically speaking, that sounds weird, but we have seen strange things on this channel and encountered many paranormal beings that make this look like your regular Sunday capture. We're tempted to believe that the one who sent in the image is onto something and in fact is telling the truth. What we don't, however, know is where the image was captured. But what do you think, though? Could it be a Skinwalker transforming back to its human form? Or are we dealing with a human who was somehow naked in the woods? Could the whole thing be an elaborate hoax as well? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. This footage was taken in southern India. In the footage, we see a huge beam of light coming from the mountains that lights up its surroundings in a strange orange glow. The light starts on the ground and goes up into the sky. It looks nothing like an explosion or regular light, but it does bring to mind the Florida video from earlier. So what could this be? Some netizens think it could be aliens, perhaps a signal from outer space. Others wonder if it's just a natural thing like a special play of light and air that we don't yet understand. I don't want to think it's an alien signal because that's never good news, but then again, it's possible this is just another phenomenon we know nothing about. Anyway, what's your idea about what's going on in this unusual scene?
This is the track we're talking about here.
Locals in a quiet rural area stumble upon a giant footprint in the mud, and it's no ordinary print. This footprint, etched in the earth, reveals the distinct features of a Bigfoot track, massive in size with toes clearly imprinted in the mud.
Yeah, we was noticing the toenail marks on here, as you can see in the camera here. Yeah, right in that area right there.
Could this be evidence of the elusive Bigfoot roaming the rural landscape, leaving its mark in the mud? Some do think so, but what do you think? Still on the odd-looking and bizarre, what do you reckon this is? At first glance, one might think it's a bear, but once the footage is zoomed in, you realize that while it might have a body reminiscent of a bear, that creature is no bear. It appears to have what looks like horns on its head. Beyond that, it also appears to be moving on all twos like a humanoid would, albeit with a slight bend. Seeing this image in our mailbox was a real thrill, even though it might be a bit spooky in person. Is this a new type of cryptid? Is it some variation of the Bigfoot? Or is this a new bear hybrid? It's hard to say, but we can't wait for the subscriber who sent this in to revisit the location and send in more pictures. Until then, what do you think we're dealing with? Have you ever seen a creature like this? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section. We'd love to hear them. This intriguing footage captured in the woods offers a rather bizarre but unique sight. Amidst the natural surroundings, we see a figure that appears to be clinging to a tree with its entire body resembling the texture of tree bark. It looks as though it had been in a perpetual tug-of-war with the tree for an extended period. Naturally, the one who filmed it thought it was an interesting shot and shared it online to hear people's thoughts and ideas of what it could be. Some argued that it was not a living being, but rather a carving or sculpture designed to closely resemble a human figure. Some wanted to believe it was alien. Some also subscribed to the idea that it's digitally manipulated. If you ask me what I thought about the whole thing, I'd say the hypothesis of it being a carving might not be too far off. It's possible that this carving holds significance in local folklore or legends, but without more context, its story remains a mystery. What do you think, though? Speaking of mysterious captures, if you have footage and clips you want to show on this channel, don't hesitate to send them in. If you're unsure of what you captured, don't worry, I'm sure the thousands of subscribers who watch the videos could help you make sense of it. Simply send it in to classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. Moving on.
It literally just happened. There are so many police here now. It's crazy. So these two cars, and they found some of the landing gear over there. They think it was a United 777.
In this parking lot, something fell from the sky, landing on the back of a car and totally crushing its roof. And look at the fence behind as well. It looks bent backwards. Some people said that it was the landing gear of a plane that fell down, but there's no indication of the said object on the scene of the incident. Looking at the condition of the car and the fence, the impact needed to cause this much damage is very huge. Luckily, there was no one in the car and no one was hurt. But still, how did the landing gear just fall off? Now, whenever we leave our homes, we should not only watch out for bad guys and aliens, but also look up in case a landing gear is just heading for our heads. Check this out. A guy's normal drive turns into a surprise after he stops at a red light. A little creature, about 2 feet tall, zooms across the street super fast. At first, you might think it's just a stray animal common in cities, but a closer look at the video and you'll see that the creature appears to be walking on 2 legs, so definitely not your regular 4-legged animal. Now the big question is, what is this 2-legged thing? My mind naturally thought of a tiny monkey, but the uploader says there's none in the area. He suspects it's a paranormal creature, and given the circumstances, well, you can't fault him for thinking that way. But do tell me, what do you see when you look at the creature? And what do you think it was doing out there at that time of night? Dinosaurs are extinct, right? I mean, it's a basic fact and everyone knows it. Our next clip, however, challenges that hypothesis. Watch. In the dead of night, the video reveals a tree and a source of light, but what steals the show is the sudden appearance of a figure that moves in a way reminiscent of an extinct dinosaur. The creature seems to have its head held high and its tail wagging, much like a dinosaur's motion. However, dinosaurs are widely believed to be extinct for millions of years. Some experts think the figure in the video could be something else entirely, possibly a small dog. They think the quality of the footage makes it appear the way it does, something along the lines of an optical illusion. The footage was captured by Christina Ryan's security camera, and she refuses to believe it's not a dinosaur. She's very convinced that the creature is a raptor. What do you think, though? Share your thoughts and speculations in the comment section. Wandering through the woods can often lead to an assortment of unexpected experiences, some more unnerving than others. Such was the case for a woman who found herself in a spine-tingling situation deep within the forest.
What the f is that? What is that? Oh, it's moving. No. Okay, no.
A woman was walking through the woods when she started to hear strange noises coming from a hollow space surrounded by trees. Typically, that should be a sign to get the hell out of there. But this woman was feeling pretty brave that day, so she took out her camera to film. Within a few seconds of filming, her lens landed on a strange dark figure perched by a tree trunk in the darkness. She stood to look at it for a while. That only lasted until the creature moved slightly, which was enough to scare and get her running away from it. In my opinion, I think it was the best choice because although that thing was not visible, it gave me this chilling feeling of being hunted. But you have to wonder, what exactly is that thing? It didn't exactly have a discernible face. Do you think this is another science experiment gone wrong, or are there creatures like this in the wild we have yet to discover? Share your thoughts with us, as we'd love to hear them. This video, shot in broad daylight, features trees in a range of colorful leaves from green to yellow, and some with brownish and orange hues, the obvious fall season vibes look. While on record mode, apparently on live television, the recorder's camera captures a ghostly apparition amid the woods in motion. Speculations flood the media, suggesting it might be a ghost sighting. What do you think this is? A possible glitch in the system, maybe? I don't know, but I think that's an authentic ghost sighting right there. Still on the legendary Bigfoot, the topic that never fails to stir the imagination, let's venture into the snow-covered woods of Russia, where a family was in for a truly unexpected sight. Members of this family were simply driving along, minding their own business, following a snowstorm. After enduring something like that, they hoped for a smooth sailing to their next location, but their attention was abruptly drawn to something truly bizarre among the trees. What they beheld was nothing short of remarkable. A strange creature, towering at about 7 to 8 feet, draped in dark fur. It was a curious amalgamation of an ape and a human, but built like a bear. Yes, you guessed it, the one and only Bigfoot. Now, this family happened to be locals, and they were quick to note that there had never been any reports or sightings of this enigmatic creature in their area. So understandably, this was quite the unexpected circus show for them. You can almost feel their excitement and trepidation by the sheer commotion in the car as they gazed upon this strange being. Do you also believe we could be dealing with a Bigfoot, or do you think that they're simply reading too much into something they shouldn't? Share your thoughts in the comments section. As the saying goes, not all heroes wear capes, and this footage is nothing but a true example of that. Have a look. This man was driving by the Thomas fire when he immediately stopped and ran towards the flames. Onlookers took out their cameras to film, wondering what he was doing, when suddenly he grabbed something from the ground. It was a rabbit. The man actually stopped to save the rabbit from the fire. Such a brave superhero. As impressive as the feat is, experts actually advise us not to save wild animals during fires. They state that if the animal wants to go back into the fire, chances are it has babies to recover or its burrow is safe despite how dangerous the fire looks. As conflicting as that might sound, they are the experts after all. If the animal doesn't make it, it's the circle of life after all. But that doesn't take away from the bravery of this man. What say you? I mean, take a look at this. Do you see it? A peculiar hairy creature with some oddly smooth areas. Typically, when it comes to weird trail cam footage, you can always tell what you're looking at after staring for a while or taking a closer look. But the thing with this is, we can't tell exactly what we're looking at. It's just hair everywhere and a lack of unidentifiable features that would help us decipher this enigma. We tried running it through our database of paranormal creatures, and it didn't fit with any of the descriptions in it. We tried Google Images, and even Google couldn't tell us what it was or what it looked like. So at this point, we look to you. What do you think this capture is? Have you encountered anything like it? Tell us in the comments section, because we'd really love to know. As we delve into our next uncanny video filmed in the dead of night, brace yourself for an unexpected twist. A luminous white light materializes out of nowhere. Upon closer scrutiny, this enigmatic apparition appears to possess legs and outstretched arms, striking a pose reminiscent of superheroes and villains taking off into the night sky. That's if you can call it that. Is this an omen, a harbinger of world-altering events? Could it be an angelic presence? And if so, why does it choose the Shroud of Darkness for its appearance? I invite you, our astute viewers, to share your speculations and insights in the comments section below. This mystery of the night awaits your discerning interpretations. Now, you know there is no mystery without a Bigfoot sighting. The classic intrigue of the creature lurking amongst the trees, a scene that invariably summons thoughts of the legendary Bigfoot. Here we see a group of creatures that bear a resemblance to the enigmatic Bigfoot. But hold on, these appear decidedly smaller than the towering behemoths often associated with Bigfoot lore. Now this gives us room for speculation. Are these simply apes, perhaps a known species like chimpanzee or gorillas roaming the woods, or could they be something altogether different? Juvenile Bigfoots in the making, exploring the world and learning the ways of their elusive kind. It's a tantalizing enigma that keeps us guessing. What say you? Next, we have footage retrieved from a security cam. It was taken in the dead of night with no source of light but the camera's IR light. Yet despite that, it captured something truly disturbing. Have a look. Unless there is proof that the flash is real and he's embraced the darkness now, I don't think that there is a logical explanation for this footage. In the stillness of the night, a dark figure zooms from an unknown location into the camera frame. Whatever it is, its smoke made the one whose trail camera captured it believe he was dealing with a vampire. Some viewers shared the same belief, while others speculated it could be a shadow of an animal, perhaps a bird or a swooping bat behind the camera. As much as we want to believe that, the ghostly appearance and supernatural speed of its movement leave us questioning any logical explanation given. What do you think, though? Our next captcha is an eerie Trailcam image that indeed raises numerous questions and sends shivers down our spines. Take a look. At first glance, the image looks like a person taking a walk in the middle of the night. After a second look, it becomes evident that the figure is wearing a uniform, leading me to speculate that this individual could be on a hunt. Upon closer inspection, however, and you would realize that the figure doesn't seem to have a face. Moreover, it has a ghostly appearance, and that's when it clicks. There's no way a human would have been taking a stroll in the woods that late at night. This definitely has to be paranormal, but what kind? Is this a ghost? A shapeshifter on its way to avenge someone maybe? Or just a lost soul caught on camera? It's hard to say, but what do you think? Let's take a look at a hiking trip that truly etches itself into the annals of one's life. This particular adventure was embarked upon by a group of students, and little did they know they were in for an encounter they'd be discussing for years to come. As they journeyed through the wilderness, they happened upon a trail that led them to a part of the woods that seemed to carry an air of mystery. Why, you might ask? Well, it was there, high upon a mountain nearby, that they spotted a figure making its way downhill. Now, what made this figure truly remarkable was the fact that, despite walking on two legs, it possessed features that quite simply ruled out the possibility of it being human. For starters, it appeared rather substantial in size, definitely larger than your average person. And if you were to zoom in on the footage, you'd notice something rather peculiar, what seemed to be hair or perhaps fur covering its body. So, Bigfoot? Well, obviously. As you can well imagine, this enigmatic encounter left the students in a state of fascination and wonder. No doubt they must regale the tale of this extraordinary sighting whenever they gather, forever etching it into the folklore of their lives. Everyone has accepted it as a Bigfoot, and we have too. What about you? This video showcases a specific patch of woods filled with trees, plants, and branches, all growing at different angles. The lush greenery highlights the beauty of nature. What makes this video intriguing is the slow, deliberate movement of the camera, which suddenly slows down and focuses on one single location. It zooms in for a closer inspection, and that's when we notice a figure moving in the light. It reveals the silhouette of an ape-like creature, but what this creature is up to remains unknown. It continues to move on one spot, then starts walking away out of sight as the camera switches to zooming out. Was that Bigfoot? If not, then what else could it be? Dragons, werewolves, and witches are all characters we see in fairy tales, but these days, with these sightings in our forests and mountains, these creatures seem to be becoming more and more of a reality than they are a fiction. A hiker was exploring the woods when he came across this beautiful white horse. But wait, it's not just a horse, it's a unicorn. Yeah, you heard me right. The beautiful horse was spotting a horn on its head. Looks like in the years to come, there will be no such thing as fairy tales anymore. Another intriguing discovery captured by a trail camera is this image of a humanoid dog-like creature. The creature is covered in pristine white fur from head to toe and seems to be emerging from the woods under the cover of night. It stands upright on its hind legs, resembling what some might describe as an albino dogman. While it's true that people occasionally wear costumes or use CGI for pranks and hoaxes, this particular image does appear quite authentic. The details and posture of the creature lend an air of authenticity to the photograph. What do you think, though? Is it real? Could this be another cryptid, or is this simply a hoax? Tell us your take. As the days roll on, it seems the line between reality and mystery becomes ever more elusive. Let's delve into this rather perplexing situation captured by a vigilant driver. As he cruises down the road, his attention is drawn to something utterly bizarre: a burning bush. Naturally, he decides to halt and investigate, but here's where things get curious. As he steps away from the car window and moves closer to the bush, the flames seem to vanish into thin air. Poof! Just like that. Now, this is where the mystery deepens. He repeats this experiment several times, and each time the burning bush behaves as though it were an illusion. The burning, it's there, but then it's not. So what in the world could be happening here? Is it some kind of glitch in the matrix, a cleverly orchestrated hoax, or perhaps something that transcends the boundaries of human comprehension? Tell us what you think it is. In the next video clip, we see a strange bundle of leaves and tree trunks that could be mistaken for a giant spider's abode. Not long after, an elk with large, somewhat coiled antlers, known to have sharp hearing capabilities, comes into view, head down, possibly feeding on its morning nourishment. Our attention is drawn to a sudden movement in the spider-like abode where a figure seems to be glancing at the elk before swiftly disappearing out of camera sight. What could this other creature be? And how quiet is it for its presence of movements to not have riled up the elk to make a run for it? Strange. While driving through the woods, an unusual sight confronted this person. Two figures walking ahead of their car. At first glance, these figures appear to be ordinary humans, two girls, to be precise. The driver's curiosity got the best of them, and they decided to park the car, intending to inquire about what these girls were doing in the woods at such an hour. However, when the girls turned to face the driver, something deeply unsettling unfolded. These beings, with their backs initially turned, appeared to lack facial features altogether. Their entire bodies emitted an eerie, otherworldly glow. It was as if they were luminous entities from beyond our realm. Startled by this inexplicable and unsettling encounter, the driver wasted no time in hastily departing from the scene, leaving behind a lingering question. Were these glowing beings aliens, spectral entities, or something else entirely? Tell us what you think in the comments section. In the world of mysterious sightings, this one truly stands out as a head-scratcher. Out in the woods, a creature with an otherworldly appearance was spotted, leaving observers both baffled and intrigued. The creature's features are a bewildering blend of the familiar and the bizarre. It possesses piercing eyes with dark pupils reminiscent of a predator, while its body takes on the form of a lizard. However, the head is where things take an eerie turn, resembling that of a hairless human with its distinct eyes and nose. To further confound, it sports 3 fingers on each hand, each adorned with sharp, menacing claws. Perhaps most intriguingly, this enigmatic being exhibits a spine covered in what appears to be scale-like structures that continue down its tail. The overall effect is that of a science experiment gone wrong, but there's also the possibility that it's an elaborate hoax. What do you think? In this video clip, an unknown person captures a figure atop the tallest tree in a grove of lush green trees. This figure is black in appearance, and the outline of the tree is clearly female. By the looks, she's also a grown woman. She appears to be completely fearless, perched atop the tallest tree in the area. But why? And how did she even get there? Is she really human, or just a skinwalker posing as a woman who could care less about being seen by the rest of the world? Tell us what you think. The age-old fascination with the mysteries and unexplained continues even with this footage. In this footage captured in La Blanca, we are presented with a sight that's as perplexing as it is grand. As we gaze upon the scene, we're greeted by the sight of a colossal figure ascending a mountain. Its size alone, when viewed from this distance, is enough to let you know it's no small creature. Yet, here's the twist. It's a being so peculiar and elusive that it has left even the most inquisitive minds in a state of bewilderment. Could this be the stuff of legends, the Nephilim as mentioned in ancient texts like the Bible, or might it be something unique, something that escapes the boundaries of our known world? The enigma shrouding this entity adds yet another layer to the tapestry of unexplained phenomena that continues to intrigue and challenge our understanding of the world. Don't you think so? If you've made it this far and haven't hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment, could you do that before we go on? Thank you very much. It means a lot. Moving back to today's episode. In this unsettling still image, we're confronted with an enigmatic being, if we may call it that. Its face, illuminated by the faint glow of the camera, gazes directly into the lens, as though peering into the very depths of our souls. The time of the capture, 2 a.m., only adds to the mystery, for what mortal soul would venture into the woods at such an unearthly hour? Indeed, this eerie figure evokes unsettling vibes akin to the haunting presence of Pennywise, the infamous clown from the realm of horror fiction. One cannot help but wonder, what could have possibly lurked in the wood on that fateful night? Was it a wandering spirit, a specter from beyond, or perhaps something more elusive and sinister? As we gather around the proverbial campfire of speculation, our imaginations run wild, conjuring myriad possibilities for the origins of this enigmatic figure. Is it an otherworldly entity caught momentarily in the human realm, or could it be a manifestation of something far more sinister, lurking just beyond the veil of our perception? The stillness of the image leaves us yearning for more, a glimpse into the events that preceded this unnerving moment. What do you think that was? Tell us in the comments section. Next, we have this footage captured on a trail cam that reveals a photo caught of a creature about to land in the forest. Beautiful, isn't it? The creature in the photo is bird-like and colorful and appears to have been captured mid-air with its flapping wings frozen in a rapid motion. The uploader of the image describes it as the coolest picture he's ever taken. The majestic creature is surrounded by lush, healthy trees that reach skyward, adorned with an abundance of vibrant green leaves. In the footage, we can see the bird with its long legs, white feathers, and a short beak landing where there seems to be a fox. Could that bird-like creature be one of divine origins, or are we simply dealing with the bird's motion creating an illusion of long legs and its feathers appearing colorful due to the play of sunlight? What are your thoughts? And for our third bonus segment, we have a creature that you wouldn't know so easily. Don't believe us? Have a look. Do you see it? Does its appearance not resemble a diver jumping from a springboard into a pool? As impressive and good-looking as that specimen is, what animal do you think this is? Do you have an idea? Then tell us in the comments section and add one rare fact about the animal. Start your comment with bonus footage so we can easily identify it. The most accurate description with the rarest fact will win a feature in our next video. You will become the second person to ever be featured. That's some prestige if you know what I mean. All the best. Oh, the allure of venturing into the woods when the night has fallen, a choice that's not for the faint of heart. This time, our tale takes us to a gentleman who had an unexpected encounter with a dark and mysterious figure deep within the forest. Now, let me preface this by saying that I wouldn't be out in the woods at that hour. And if I were, the moment I laid eyes on this particular figure, I'd likely be sprinting in the opposite direction. Why, you ask? Well, because this footage, my friends, is the stuff that sends shivers down your spine. In the eerie glow of the night, there it is, a creature perched behind a tree, obscured by the inky blackness of its fur. It's an image that unmistakably brings to mind the legendary Bigfoot, an enigma that continues to baffle and fascinate us. Indeed, it's a truly strange sight that's capable of upsetting anyone. Take a second look at the whole thing. Do you think we're dealing with Bigfoot or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments section. For our next capture, we travel back in time to 2017. An image was shared back then, and despite the fact that it's been more than 5 years, it remains a mystery, leaving many with questions that have remained unanswered. Have a look. You see it too, don't you? This image is unlike anything we've ever captured on the channel. The image was taken by a Trailcam set up in the woods. The owner of the Trailcam, which captured the image, was reviewing the interesting pictures his camera had captured when he was shocked to find these unnatural captures. The dark creature, or should I say creatures, in the dark had no discernible body with glowing eyes and what looked like arms stretched out. There appear to be two creatures as there are two sets of eyes. Perplexed and freaked out by what he was seeing, the uploader sent the footage around to the paranormal community hoping for answers, but no one had any for him as they were too confused. Some thought it was a Sasquatch, whereas others thought it might be like a ghost or otherworldly creature. Looking at it, we don't have answers either. Do you? Tell us in the comments section. This next trail cam was captured on a path in the woods. When the owner retrieved the footage, discovered something jaw-dropping and sinister. Take a look at the video. Did you see that? Watch it again. Looking closely behind the trees, there you can see a white shadowy figure moving swiftly through the woods. What could that apparition be? Some kind of ghost or a spirit? Could this be some kind of camera trick? I doubt that because it all looks so real. The very idea of coming across a ghost or spirit is fascinating. Across history, there have been countless reports of supernatural sightings and stories of ghostly figures are deeply rooted in various cultures. Perhaps those stories are true after all, because, well, how else do you explain this in the countless realistic ghost images we have seen on this channel so far? In the annals of mysterious and unexplained phenomena, the appearance of strange beings, especially those reminiscent of aliens, tends to capture our imagination. The year 2019 brought forth a curious piece of footage from the heart of Brazil that has left many intrigued. In the video, we see a peculiar, pale and black-eyed creature. Its appearance is undeniably otherworldly, and it appears to be engaging with the trail cam curiously. As with many such sightings, there's room for skepticism, with some suggesting it might be a well-executed hoax, possibly involving a person in an elaborate costume or skillful CGI. However, considering the vastness of the universe and our limited understanding of it, one can't help but wonder if there might be a fraction of truth to such sightings. What do you think? If you made it this far and haven't hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment, could you do that before we go on? Thank you very much, as it means a lot. Moving back to today's episode. In this intriguing video, a courageous man finds himself in an undisclosed location, standing amidst a vast landscape with an abundance of lush green plants. However, the particular area where he's standing appears to be barren, with only a green sack in his hand. What makes this scene all the more remarkable is the action that unfolds next. The man upends the sack, causing a collection of snakes to spill out on the ground. Without hesitation, he discards the sack, crouches down, and proceeds to handle the snakes with his bare hands. As he does so, the snakes quickly disperse in various directions. The exact location of this video and the specific species of snakes involved remain undisclosed, leaving viewers with a sense of mystery. The man's audacious act of handling these snakes barehanded is indeed an alarming sight to behold, and it raises numerous questions. What motivated him to undertake this endeavor, and what message or symbolism might be associated with this unusual act? Was he aided by some voodoo, or is it purely skill? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Apart from capturing enigmatic creatures and animals in the wild, trail cameras sometimes capture strange humans who leave the comfort of civilization and venture into the woods to do questionable things. Take a look at this trail cam image, for instance. It was taken deep in a patch of pines at 7 p.m. Observe this intriguing image closely. It appears to show a person, possibly a mother, carrying a baby with what seems like a pacifier in its mouth. What could they be doing in the woods at this time, and why have a baby with you? Unless for some reason they were lost in the woods, which is understandable, but if not, then why? What exactly could be going on in this footage? Unless, of course, they're not human after all and there's something weird going on. This is one of the weirdest trail cam footages that I've come across, and I just can't understand the situation here. What do you think could be happening? In this footage, a brave man stumbles upon a set of enormous tracks leading from the depths of the forest to his very doorstep. He couldn't believe his eyes at the size of these tracks, exceeding that of any human footprints he'd ever seen. Clearly, it was evident that no ordinary human could be responsible for these massive impressions. As the man followed the tracks, he noticed the significant gaps between each print, indicating a creature of considerable size was wandering through the area. This left him baffled, as he ruled out typical animals like apes or gorillas, which wouldn't have left such enormous tracks. So, what could be responsible for these puzzling footprints? The man couldn't help but consider the possibility of the legendary Bigfoot. Could this elusive and enigmatic creature be roaming the wilderness, leaving behind traces of its presence? As we always do, we approach such encounters with a blend of curiosity and skepticism. While the idea of a mythical creature like Bigfoot captivates our imagination, we also keep in mind that there might be other explanations for these unusual tracks. Is it possible that a large and unknown animal species resides deep within the forest, still waiting to be discovered by science? Or could there be a more rational explanation for these prints that we have yet to consider? Tell us what you think.
Wow. We're definitely getting closer, like really close.
In this intriguing nighttime footage, it appears to have been captured by a group of friends venturing into the wilderness. The recorder's commentary suggests a casual and carefree attitude. However, as the video unfolds, it takes on an eerie and unsettling tone.
Oh my... Stick. I thought it was another one of those skull things. I think we should try to, find its, base camp.
The initial discovery of bloodstains on the ground prompts a reaction from the recorder, signaling the group's growing unease. As they continue their journey, their path leads them to an enigmatic site obscured by a cluster of leaf-like structures, which further heightens the suspense.
What is that? Is that a brain? Stop.
A pivotal moment occurs when they pause, and the camera captures vertical sources of light seemingly levitating nearby.
Let's look at this.
This development elicits fear and astonishment from the explorers, causing them to express their horror of what they're witnessing. In their haste to escape, the camera inadvertently captures what appears to be a skeletal figure holding a source of illumination. The authenticity of this footage remains a subject of debate. While some viewers might believe it to be genuine, others might suspect it to be staged or manipulated. Ultimately, the decision about its authenticity is open to interpretation, and it's left many questioning whether it represents a real encounter with the supernatural or a cleverly crafted piece of storytelling. Let us know what you think about the whole thing in the comments section. What do you think this is? If you said dragon, I wouldn't blame you because that's exactly what came to mind when I saw these remains. The discovered remains exhibit a strikingly large number of bones resembling the skeletal structure of an enormous sea snake or serpent-like creature. I mean, how many creatures do you know that look like that? If it was an isolated incident, well, we can call it a hoax. But in recent discovery in the Yucatan Peninsula, explorers have reported the unearthing of peculiar remains that some believe may be linked to ancient sea creatures, often mythologized as dragons. These remarkable findings have led to various speculations within the scientific community and the general public. The Yucatan Peninsula, known for its diverse geological formations, has previously yielded fossils dating back to the Ice Age. Could these be the necessary proof that dragons existed in the region back then? I mean, we have got the fossils, and then we have got the Chinese lore on these creatures. There's no way it's just a mere coincidence now, is it? Share your thoughts. Often at times, we assume animals don't have a mind of their own and that they may never notice a trail cam setup. In this footage, we see a black bear approximately a little less than 6 feet tall watching the trail cam while on all fours. The footage captured the black bear gallivanting through the woods during the nighttime. The bear approaches the camera with glowing eyes, seemingly intrigued by the discovery. Although animals do this all the time, I'm not convinced that we're dealing with an animal. Notice the odd orbs around the creature. If you've been on this channel for long, you know they represent the supernatural, and the uploader of the footage believes that bear might actually be a spirit bear exploring the forest. Some believe that these orbs adjust the function of light falling on the trail cam, but that's hard to confirm. What do you think could be happening here? Next, we have a capture that's not necessarily a trail cam, but one that's equally interesting regardless. If you've been to the wild, then you're familiar with coming across trees animals have rubbed on. I mean, cats do that in our rooms, but that's just scratching. What do you do when you come across one that's over 6 feet high? Well, you start wondering what creature was large enough to do so. If you pay attention to the one in the middle, it's different from the rest. Moose do this to get rid of the velvet that covers their antlers, but can you think of how large the moose that did this was? If you have some hunting experience, please bless us with knowledge in the comments section, as we'd love to read. Talk about a mid-air mystery that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Imagine being on a plane looking out of the window and suddenly noticing that the propeller seems frozen in time, not doing the usual spin that provides reassurance during a flight. It's that kind of sight that could make your heart skip a beat, and that's what happened to our unfortunate cinematographer for this clip. A little alarmed, our vigilant passenger took out his phone to film it, but something even stranger occurred. In the video, the propeller was still, but when he moved the phone, the propeller began to function. This was quite strange, but it appears that the mysterious interplay between the human eye, the camera lens, and the spinning propeller creates a visual illusion that plays tricks on our perception. So fear not, the plane isn't defying the laws of aviation, it's just an optical illusion. In Japan, a homeowner bought a house that was haunted. He has records of ghostly activities in the house, and the most shocking of all is this footage here. He put 2 toilet papers on a stick and placed them on the walls of the stairway. That part of the house has a lot of activity, so watch what happens to the rolls. In a few moments, an unknown force grabs onto the rolls and starts to pull. This footage has been studied and confirmed to not be edited. This man should leave that house, unless he's friends with the ghost haunting the house. Well, then good for him. Next, we have Trailcam footage for what we still have no understanding. Have a look. According to the uploader of the footage, the trail camera was set up in the woods of a small public park people visit with a little yellow tape around it. Someone walked in and changed it, but here's the kicker. The person was not caught on camera. What do you think we're dealing with here? A skillful vandal or a paranormal being? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section, as we'd love to hear them. Many will come with their speculations concerning every Trailcam video uploaded, but let's dissect what's really going on here. In this footage, we see a hairless creature that's apparently sniffing around and searching for food. All who initially saw this footage believed that we're dealing with a Chupacabra, and given its appearance, we don't blame them. But is it really one? Some don't think so. They think it's only a mangy coyote, and while we can see where they're coming from, we'd still want to hear your thoughts. What do you see? Let your speculations flood the comment section. What would you do if you ran into a ginormous creature? What would you do? If you said run for dear life, I'd consider it a normal response, but the man in the next footage did the opposite. Watch. In this clip, the recorder is strategically positioned to capture an intriguing sight within the vast forested area. Tall, lush green trees dominate the landscape, creating a serene yet mysterious backdrop. While the video maintains a sense of quietude, it's apparent that the recorder is dedicated to documenting the unfolding scene. As the video unfolds, a figure comes into view from a few strides away. This figure is of considerable height, estimated to be between 10 and 12 feet tall. Its appearance is notably dark and covered in hair, bearing a striking resemblance to the legendary creature known as Bigfoot. The figure moves purposefully down the trail with an expressionless demeanor, seemingly unfazed by any events or surroundings. This enigmatic sighting raises intriguing questions. Is this indeed a genuine encounter with Bigfoot, a creature steeped in folklore and myth? Or could it possibly be a well-executed costume or mascot designed to mimic the iconic creatures? If you thought that was weird, take a look at this next footage. See anything unusual in the footage? No? Well, let's give it another look. If you're having trouble spotting anything unusual, focus on the top left of the footage. Notice those strange, unsettling movements in the top left. Do they seem natural to you? Well, the uploader is convinced these movements are far from ordinary. He saw movements resembling a face and speculated that an otherworldly creature might be stalking the deer, possibly with a sinister intent. Unsure, he posted it online seeking the opinions of other Trailcam owners, and, of course, the members of the paranormal community responded. To them, whatever that is, it's anything but normal. Their suspicion? A Dogman lurking in the shadows, eyeing the deer as its next meal. Take a third look at the footage. You can't fault them for thinking that. After all, does it not look like there's a real predator lurking in the shadows? The video was tagged as a modern Dogman sighting, and this naturally caused it to blow up. On the flip side, some Trailcam experts dismissed the Dogman theory as unnecessary. To them, the creature was nothing more than a squirrel moving in the tree. After closely examining the footage, I can understand their perspective, but what's your take? Do you also see the Dogman, or is it simply a case of mistaken identity? Are there horned men in existence? Well, if you answered no, our next footage might surprise you. Take a look. Imagine a well-built guy rocking what looks like a legit horn sticking out of his noggin, all while donning a snazzy skirt made of dried leaves. Talk about a fashion statement. See what I did there? I sounded young and hip. Kudos to myself. Now you're probably thinking, wait, can humans even grow horns? That's a valid question by all standards. Sadly, it's one of varied and contradicting responses. I mean, well, it's not natural, but that doesn't make it impossible. We literally have a man on our screens who appears to have. Maybe this guy is a different species altogether, or perhaps Mother Nature decided to spice things up and give him an upgrade. As much as I want to roll out the wild theories, there's also the possibility that it might be a cultural thing. Some places around the globe are known for unique body modifications. Perhaps this is a modification that's done among his people. But since we cannot verify that, we're left to speculate and theorize. What's your theory? Ah, the classic mysterious lights in the night sky scenario. You gotta love those. So a Facebook user spots this curious sight. Not one, not two, but 4 enigmatic lights just doing their thing in the night sky. It's like someone threw a handful of glow sticks into the night sky and called it a day. They look like they belong to some kind of spacecraft. It also looked like all 4 lights did not belong to one craft, but 4 separate crafts. Who could they belong to, though? Alien visitors? Is the military practicing some secret maneuvers, or maybe just some unusually coordinated sky lanterns having a night out? It's hard to say, but you're allowed an opinion. What do you think? Have you ever taken a walk down a dark path and instantly regretted it? Well, I know I have, but I doubt it in any way compares to the next footage I'm about to show you. What do you think that creature is? Well, if you are clueless, then you aren't the only one. At first glance, it might seem like a mountain lion, but after a few seconds, you'll notice it's longer than any mountain lion should be. It almost looks like a human being moving on all fours, albeit without any human-like features. Many who saw the footage believed it was a skinwalker, and the uploader seems to think so too. He mentions that there are many legends of skinwalkers in the area, but it was not until he encountered what you were seeing on your screen that he started to believe that the legends might be true. That's his personal assertion, though. What do you see when you look at the footage? Do you see a skinwalker too, or are we simply blowing things out of proportion? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section, as we'd love to hear them. What do you think that being is? Before you move any further, pause the video and write what you think it is in the comments section so we can confirm after. Moving on, what do you think it was? What did you write? Yes, the capture looks like the image of some wraith taken very late at night, but what if I told you it's none of these things? What if I told you there was actually a logical explanation for what you see? Well, there actually is. The figure captured in the video is nothing more than a man in a ghillie suit. For many of you, this might be a new term, but it's actually commonly used by the military to blend in with natural surroundings and vegetation during missions. This is the explanation for its bizarre look. At first glance, one might think this certainly has to be a humanoid creature that emerged from the deepest parts of the sea, but thankfully it's not. How was it captured on a trail cam then? Well, the trail cam that captured this might probably be located in a military zone used for training. Imagine not knowing about this and waking up to a dozen of these on your trail camera. You might think aliens are taking over the world or something, which is exactly what the owner of this trail cam footage thought. Thankfully, though, it looks like we are free, at least for the next few decades, until we truly encounter some alien species. That's if they exist. While on a family stroll, a man and his family discover something interesting. It's a peculiar rock structure that's shut tighter than a treasure chest should be. He suspects it could be a secret government facility or one that leads to aliens. Now, I'm not one to jump to conclusions, but this is giving strange, weird, and suspicious vibes. It's like the beach's version of Fort Knox, but made of rocks. The big question is, what on earth could be tucked away inside? That, I guess, we'd never find out.
To the ground again. What if this is a freaking government secret door or there's aliens behind it? I don't know, you tell me. Bye.
Before you watch the next clip, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment if you haven't already? It goes a long way to make it possible to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to the day's episode, back in 2022, this image was circulating on the internet from the US. With little info on where the image came from, determining what this creature is has been nothing but a hustle. In the picture, we can see a dark-furred creature walking in a river. The creature was roughly about 7 feet tall and bipedal. Experts who came across the photo have examined it thoroughly and have tried to come up with a logical explanation as to what this is. But as far as we can see, this clearly looks like a Bigfoot. No bear or monkey has a posture like this. If you think otherwise, share your thoughts with us in the comments section. In the midst of all the mysterious and enigmatic trail cam captures we often come across, it's refreshing to stumble upon something that brings a smile to our faces. So here we have this deer, quite literally making the best of its moment in the spotlight. Just take a closer look at the picture and you'll see a majestic creature with its tongue playfully sticking out, striking a pose that's nothing short of adorable. It's almost as if this deer decided it was time to give the paparazzi, in this case the trail cam, a taste of its modeling prowess. You have to admit, he's beautiful, isn't he? This trail cam footage indeed presents a puzzling scenario with several elements at play. Initially, it appears to capture a group of deer feasting on their night ration with glowing eyes, a phenomenon often attributed to the reflection of light from the camera. However, the intriguing aspect of this footage lies in a distant source of illumination that appears much later. The distant light source does indeed resemble a human head, and it's wrapped in what seems like a transparent covering. The most common assumption for such an occurrence might be that it's an unidentified flying object or an apparition of some kind. To arrive at a more conclusive understanding of this enigmatic footage, further analysis and investigation are necessary. Without additional context or information, it remains a mysterious occurrence open to interpretation and speculation. Mermaids have been talked about for years with various sightings here and there. Yet there are still a few things that make humans pause and question if these creatures are real or if they're just characters we made up for our fairy tales and bedtime stories. However, it's footage like this that leaves us questioning if these creatures are real or not. Some people went to the Yukon River to fish when they spotted this creature that fits the mermaid description swimming by. The creature had long black hair with a silvery fish tail, and it calmly swam by. From various stories I've heard of these creatures, they're mostly hiding from humans, but not this one. It's actually approaching the fishermen. That and the graphic fidelity of the footage make the credibility of this encounter a little fishy. I'm willing to bet that I'm not the only one who thinks this footage might be a hoax. What about you? Don't be shy. Here is another footage of a robot taken in Russia. We witness a human in a boxing ring against a formidable opponent, a robot. As the match unfolds, it becomes apparent that the odds are stacked in favor of the mechanical contender. The man launches his attack and the machine defends easily, but when the robot attacks, it lands two perfect punches that leave the man out cold. Is it that they are out of human players or just wanted to watch a person get beat up? Because this is clearly not a fair fight. Once again, everyone wants us to believe that this is real, but my assistant showed me the original video, and I must state, this is just impressive CGI. This spectacle, captured in a shot, reveals an intriguing moment in a lush green landscape with coiled and angled branches. At the center of attention is a white or gray-looking animal with its rear facing the trail camera. While it resembles a member of the cat family, identifying the exact species remains a mystery. It could potentially be a variety of creatures, including wild cats or even domestic cats, to determine the species accurately. Further details and clearer views of the animal's characteristics would have to be necessary. Nature often surprises us with its diversity, and this sighting adds to the intrigue of the natural world. If more information becomes available or if viewers have insights, it might help clarify the identity of this enigmatic creature. Until then, we can only guess, and guess we will. Tell me what you believe you are seeing. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Next, we have this image that was captured by an unknown man. Looks like your everyday picture, does it not? But wait till you hear the story behind it. The image on your screen reveals a young girl looking back at the camera or an individual filming from behind a tree. If you thought that this was a girl playing hide and seek, well, we can't fault you, but turns out the story is actually something much, much darker. The individual who took the image believes we're actually seeing a ghost and not a real person. He believes that the girl in the image died in that particular forest years ago and has since not left the area because her spirit has no peace. He was creeped out by the capture and shared it. Do you want to know what my thoughts are? If this is indeed true, how many more ghosts lurk in the neighborhoods? How many spirits have we met or entertained without really knowing what they were? Some speculation surrounding this image suggests it may have been taken a long time ago and that the girl might have actually been alive when it was taken. While that sounds a bit reassuring if we're going to go by what the uploader said, then the narrative is false. While that sounds a bit reassuring if we are going to go by what the uploader said, then the narrative is false. It's always intriguing to come across such images, but they always come with their mysterious aura and interesting twists. What do you think about the whole thing? Tell us in the comments section. Quite recently, there was a commotion in Miami, and the whole situation can be attributed to a suspected alien sighting in the region. Various images have since been going around, but it seems these photos might be one of the clearest. There you can see the creature, about 7 to 8 feet tall, walking. According to the owner of the footage, the creature was very visible for one moment and then started to become transparent until it finally vanished. Residents from the area have confirmed this as well, but according to the police, there was no creature on site. However, on the night of the incident, there were hundreds of police surrounding the area, with some in choppers in the sky, which makes the whole thing very suspicious. The conflicting reports raise questions about the validity and nature of the alleged alien sighting. Residents remain divided on the credibility of the incident, sparking debates and speculation within the community. Having seen this footage, what do you also think? Well, the mystery deepens as a trail camera working its night shift in the heart of the forest captures a peculiar creature that's enough to send shivers down your spine. A creature with a long, crooked neck. This creature we are seeing on the screen is what people call the Campy monster. The term Champy is often associated with Champ, the legendary lake monster said to inhabit Lake Champlain primarily in the United States and Canada. Champ has been a subject of local folklore and legend, with reported sightings and accounts stretching back for decades. Descriptions of Champ often include a long-necked creature resembling a plesiosaur, a group of prehistoric marine reptiles known for their distinctive long necks and flippers. Could this be one of them? Birds are very jumpy animals, and the slightest movement could get them flying away. So tell me why this little birdie hopped on this rider's bicycle in the woods. It was almost as if this chirpy avian had some kind of message. Maybe it thought our cyclist had overstayed their welcome, like the woodland guardian saying, "Hey buddy, the forest isn't your personal hangout spot." Or perhaps this was Mother Nature's reminder that we humans are just visitors in her grand domain. Who knows what went on in the mind of that little bird? Maybe it fancied the bicycle as the latest and avian-approved purchase. Late one night on a quiet, secluded farm, a farmer was stirred from his sleep by a commotion among his animals. Worried about their well-being, he quickly made his way to the source of the disturbance. Under the soft glow of the moon, he was met with an odd and unexpected sight. There, in the midst of his farm, stood a peculiar creature. It bore a resemblance to an emaciated baboon, its fur unkempt and tangled. The creature seemed agitated, hopping about in a manner that suggested it was disorientated or frightened. This was no ordinary encounter, and the farmer couldn't help but wonder about the identity of this mysterious being. Was it a lost animal, or perhaps something more enigmatic, a denizen of the night that rarely ventured in a human territory? Unsure what the answer might be, he posted it online to gather the opinions, thoughts, and feelings from the online community. Some thought it was only a baboon, others an otherworldly creature. When it comes to my team and me, the responses are mixed as well. We need a tiebreaker. What do you guys think it is? Tell us in the comment section. This footage has been circulating the internet for quite a while now, but every time I watch it, it just gives me anxiety. In the footage, we have a group of daredevils living life on the edge, deciding to turn the famous Monticello Dam into their own personal swimming pool. These guys are having a grand old time, frolicking in the water. Like they're on vacation when one guy takes a not-so-graceful slip and down he goes into the glory hole. Now, the glory hole is not there for a casual dip. It's to control the water released to and from the dam. I don't know why these guys decided to take a bath there because it's very dangerous. Maybe next time they'll stick to safer waters like a regular pool or, anywhere that's not a dam with a name like Glory Hole. Next, we visit the mountains of Romania. This is one of those unaware clips where the individual in question captures something without knowing it till he's home. Enjoy. This is the image he captured. If you look closely behind the pile of twigs, you'll notice a creature with a striking primate resemblance. You don't need to zoom in to have an image of Bigfoot take over your imagination. As intriguing as the capture is, we've got to ask, why was Bigfoot there? Was he stalking the man? Did they accidentally cross paths? Or did it have something sinister planned? Either way, you have to agree that the man is quite fortunate that despite being so close in proximity to the creature, nothing funny or remotely dangerous happened to him, even if Bigfoots don't have a reputation for being violent. Have you ever heard of someone coming across a white Bigfoot? If you answered no, then it's clearly because you haven't seen our next clip. In this clip, an explorer named Carpenter was on a quest in the woods and, as is normal for all explorers, he documented his journey. At some point in his exploration, he felt he was being watched. The creature that was stalking him was definitely trying to hide from him. Being the cunning explorer he is, he finds a way to film and capture it. What he saw was a large, white-haired creature skillfully hiding among the trees. Taking multiple looks at the creature, he concluded that the creature was none other than Bigfoot. Are there white Bigfoots, though? Not as far as we know. We only know of the snow cousin of the Bigfoot, which is the Yeti, but this doesn't look like it was captured on a snow-covered mountain. Without more conclusive evidence, it's challenging to definitely identify the creature in the video. Some people might interpret it as Bigfoot, while others may offer alternative explanations or consider it inconclusive. What's your conclusion? During a visit to an animal park, a group of tourists came across a rather unusual sight involving a giraffe. At first glance, it appears as if this giraffe was attempting to challenge the lion's claim to the jungle throne, sporting what looked like a crown atop its head. However, upon closer inspection, a different, more concerning reality emerged. The tourists soon realized that this giraffe wasn't vying for royal status. Instead, it seemed to be suffering from some kind of growth or tumor on its head, with a noticeable hole in its center. This peculiar condition could be the result of various factors, including a virus infection or even a birth defect. One can't help but feel empathy for this creature, hoping that it receives the care and attention it needs to recover or manage its condition. Does any one of you know what's happening? Please pray to tell. We'd love to know. This footage was recorded by a man who was woken up by strange screams in the middle of the night. Now, most of us would probably hide under the covers and call for help. The most we may do is grab a flashlight, but not this guy. Oh no, he went out to see what it was, and this is what he found. Hanging from the tree is this ghostly figure disturbing the whole neighborhood. The first thing that came to my mind was a ghost, but why the screaming though? Is it an evil spirit having a midnight meltdown on the tree branches, or did someone lose their way during a creepy costume party? I mean, who hangs out on a tree in the middle of the night? The footage abruptly ends there, so we don't know if the man went further to investigate or if he just retired to bed. What do you think that thing is, though? Any experience? Now, that's a deer party you don't see every day. So you wake up one fine morning, stroll into your garage, and boom, you've got an audience of about 30 or more deer just chilling and giving you the deer in the headlights look. Talk about an overwhelming wake-up call. I mean, where did they all come from, and why are they just hanging out in the garage and staring at the guy like they own the place? And get this, the guy's not bothered in the slightest and just goes out to feed them. Is he running a deer spa in his garage, or does he just throw some snacks out regularly? Maybe they've got a deal. Who knows? What do you see when you look at this capture? Before you conclude it's just a dirty monkey or a chimpanzee covered in mud, take a look at its fingers. Do those look normal to you? Certainly not. Moving away from its fingers and taking a look at its face, you can tell that the eyes are much more sunken than they should be, and its nostrils have holes bigger and definitely deeper than ordinary primates that size. Just what could we be dealing with here? Well, no one knows, not even the one whose trail camera captured this. According to him, there are no primates in the area, and a local legend speaks of a small but wicked ape-like creature that roams the woods seeking to exact revenge on all who hurt the wildlife in the area. He mentions that even as a child, he's always thought the story to be ridiculous and unreal. At least he thought so until his trail camera captured this. What do you think of the whole thing? Do you believe his story, or do you think there's something more sinister happening here? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. We'd love to know. During a stroll in the woods, an unsuspecting farmer came across a natural but somewhat gruesome scene. What lay before him was the shriveled remains of a bear, which had become a feast for countless worms and insects. This sighting serves as a stark reminder of the cycle of life and nature's way of recycling organic matter. While such a sight would undoubtedly evoke strong reactions from many, the farmer displayed a remarkable level of courage by not only witnessing it, but also filming the scene. It raises the question of how one would react in the face of such a natural but unsettling spectacle. Feel free to share your thoughts on how you would have handled encountering such a sight in the comments section. We'd love to know. We've all heard of the company Tesla by Elon Musk. This company has achieved a lot of technological milestones to a point that it seems scary. Even Elon Musk himself has said so. In this footage, we can see a Tesla robot being handed a hat and a gun. The robot shoots the gun at a Tesla car to test if the car is bulletproof. After that, another robot comes out of the car unharmed. While the demonstration showcases impressive advancements in technology and automation, it also sparks a contemplation of the implications. The ease with which the robot handles the gun raises questions about the evolving capabilities of artificial intelligence. The seamless execution of tasks by these robots brings to mind the concept of singularity, a point where AI could surpass human intelligence, prompting both awe and a tinge of unease. That's if the video was true, at least. I must say, it had me in the first half, but this has to be one of the most impressive CGIs I have ever seen. Unless, of course, it's truly real. Can anyone confirm? In the vast skies above Venezuela in 2023, a group of mesmerized onlookers captures a celestial show that challenges the norms of the ordinary. Initially, a fleet of radiant objects was spotted hovering in the night sky like otherworldly gems. However, the spectacle takes an astonishing twist as these celestial wonders undergo a spell-binding metamorphosis. Slowly but surely, the luminous objects transform into what can only be termed sky snakes. What's your take on this sky show? Alien acrobats or an elaborate light display with a serpent twist? This image was captured on a Trailcam. Looks like it's our good old friend Bigfoot playing peekaboo with the camera. The creature in question seems to have dark fur and broad shoulders, giving it a rather imposing appearance. While it's tempting to speculate that this might be Bigfoot, it's essential to consider other possibilities. It's possible that this could be a large gorilla or another undiscovered animal. However, with more definitive evidence or additional context, it's challenging to draw any firm conclusions. What's your take on this enigmatic figure? This deer camera footage captures a tranquil scene in the woods during the night. The scattered trees and the central tree with a unique marking create an eerie and mysterious atmosphere. As the camera zooms in, we can see a prominent celestial object in the sky which could easily be mistaken for the moon. However, upon closer inspection, it appears to be more like an orb or another identified object. The nature of this object raises questions and curiosity. On this channel, we've long associated orbs with supernatural activity, but some have pointed out that this could be of alien origin. Others argue it could be an unknown celestial object or orb that somehow materialized in our plane. Either of these is possible, and either of these would be a great reality. What do you personally think we're dealing with here? Tell us in the comments section. We'd love to hear it. If you thought that was bizarre, then you need to see this next clip. People have been capturing footage of these strange black smoke rings, and the weird thing is they're popping up in different parts of the world. Now, some suggest that the logical explanation might be fireworks or lightning, but according to those who witnessed these smoky circles in the sky, there was no trace of fireworks or lightning anywhere in sight. So what could it be? Do these rings have anything to do with the recent surge in aliens and UFO sightings? Perhaps some kind of interdimensional portal opening up right above us? No one knows. Skeptics, however, suggest that these rings might be a natural occurrence that has only recently caught our attention due to the prevalence of smartphones and cameras. If you were to ask me, that's just a poor attempt to be logical, but hey, what do I know? And you know, I definitely won't move on to the next clip without asking what you think. So what do you think? There are wonders all around the world. Each day, humans are presented with something new to discuss. This clip captures the astonishing moment when a group of men from a native village stumbled upon a peculiar creature while fishing along the riverside. The creature has a bluish body, a pair of human-like arms and legs, and a head resembling an alien. The concept of extraterrestrial life has long captured the human imagination, fueled by countless accounts of unidentified flying objects and alleged encounters. The possibility that this entity might be a product of human experimentation in a laboratory couldn't be dismissed either. With advances in genetic engineering and bioengineering, the line between science fiction and reality has blurred, giving rise to ethical concerns about the creation of hybrid organisms. So is this one of the said aliens or something whipped up in a lab? In this eerie video, an explorer ventures into an abandoned house, capturing moments in what appears to be an underground passageway. Armed with a source of light, he carefully examines the house only to have a ghostly apparition seemingly materialize behind him. The figure emerges, seemingly out of nowhere, creating a chilling presence. The explorer's reaction suggests that he felt an unusual presence or a contact, even though he initially saw nothing when he turned around. This mysterious figure reappears near a black door. It's only upon reviewing the camera footage that he becomes aware of what he captured when his focus is elsewhere. Experiences like this can be unsettling and often lead to questions about the existence of ghosts or spirits. Some might interpret such encounters as tricks of light and shadow, while others may find them compelling evidence of the supernatural. Belief in the paranormal varies among individuals, and experiences like these continue to spark debates and discussions about the unexplained. From your perspective, what explanation will you give to the whole thing? Tell us in the comments section, as we'd love to know. If you still haven't hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment, could you do it now? Thank you very much. It means a lot to us and allows us to create more content like this. Moving on to the next clip. If you thought things couldn't get any creepier, oh boy, are you wrong. Imagine walking into the woods and coming across this. In this footage, we stumble upon a truly bizarre find in broad daylight, an enigmatic miniature figure carved from wood, or possibly a dried-up creature. Its features are like anything we've ever seen before. 4 small breasts, a round head, hat-like ears, extra toes, and curled fingers. Based on its rigid and unmoving appearance, it's highly likely that this is a statue or a piece of art deliberately placed in the woods. The figure's purpose and origin remain shrouded in mystery, leaving us with a plethora of intriguing questions. Naturally, the explorer who came across it wanted to investigate some more, but the eerie presence and nature of the figure discouraged him. This caused him to leave the area with more questions than answers. We're relieved he prioritized his safety, but the mystery of what this figure is and why it's in the woods still intrigues us. Do you have an idea? Do you have answers? Please share in the comments section, as we'd really love to crack this enigma. Thank you in advance. While at a lake, a group of kids came across a huge fish lying lifeless in the water. While I don't understand why the little boy is in the water with it, one can't help but think that lifeless creature does look like a shark with razor-sharp teeth. It is hard to identify the exact kind of fish it is because its skin appears to have already started decomposing. It is too small to be a whale and too big to be a dolphin. So what could this be? Share your thoughts. A truck driver went to work one morning just like every other time to go about his usual routine. But guess his surprise when he went to his truck and opened the door. The wheels of the truck were moving violently and the gear moving up and down. The truck was not moving or even ignited, so what in the world could be going on here? It's like the truck's got a mind of its own. But last time I checked, trucks don't come equipped with brains, right? I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure trucks don't do this. So what's the deal here? Is it some kind of auto-gymnastic routine, or maybe the ghost of a truck's past owner taking the wheel for a spin? I guess we may never know. A hiker on the Colorado mountains spotted what he believed to be a Sasquatch back in 2009. The creature was hiding behind some rocks looking at the hikers. It had brown fur. For those who don't know, these parts are like the hotspots for Bigfoot sightings. The sightings are so often that it's almost like a rite of passage to spot one there. Once the hiker in question noticed the creature, the brave soul decided to go back and investigate the spot. He wanted to make sure he had really seen what he had seen. What does he find when he goes back? No Bigfoot, no, just a pile of straw. Was Bigfoot camping there, or did it put the straw there to mislead the hiker? Share your thoughts. Next, we visit the borders of the Kentucky Islands for some strange and quite frankly spooky vocalizations. Imagine hearing this while chilling in your cozy island abode or sipping sweet tea or whatever islanders do. There's no way you'd recover from it. I don't know about you, but they sound like howls and barks combined that are echoing throughout the woodlands. We did some further analysis on the audio and realized that they don't sound like any animal we know. The vocalizations, however, hint at a very large creature. Given the fact that the area is known to have Bigfoot sightings, we don't have to go too far to guess what we could be dealing with, do we? Oh boy, it sounds like we've got ourselves a creature feature straight out of a swampy horror movie. The creature, by all accounts, has a face that's a bizarre blend of fishy features, a fish-like face and mouth, black eyes staring into the void, and no suggestion of a nose. Now that's a catch that does not qualify for dinner. What in the world could this be? Is it a mutant fish, an undiscovered species, or perhaps something straight out of a horror movie? Turning our gaze toward the heavens again, a mystery unfolds in footage capturing 3 mesmerizing glowing orbs suspended in the sky. At an unknown location, 3 glowing orbs were spotted in the sky. They were an orange hue and were in the formation of a triangle. Now, that alone would be enough to raise a few eyebrows, right? But here's where it gets even stranger. As these mysterious lights move, something peculiar catches the eye. It's as if these glowing orbs are all part of one cohesive unit, dancing in perfect harmony. The triangular formation remains intact. So what are we looking at? Some are entertaining the idea that there is something beyond human comprehension at play, an extraterrestrial presence or an advanced technology that surpasses our current understanding of aerospace. So here we are, faced with another enigma in the cosmos. We're back in British Columbia again. This footage was sent in by a man who went fishing only to come across some tracks around a riverside. The soft soil on the ground had molded on it 3 perfect tracks. There were several of the footprints around, which were much bigger than his size 10 feet. The prints were about 15 or more inches and were pretty deep in the ground. Now, this fisherman's no stranger to these prints. He's been spotting them regularly and believes that Bigfoot lives around there. Now that you've seen them yourself, what do you think? A hiker came across this strange structure in the middle of the woods. It was a cave made out of branches that had been carefully put together. Who or what could have made this cave in the middle of the woods? Some skeptics are leaning toward the idea that this might just be a hunter's hideout, but the true paranormal enthusiasts are throwing their bets on it being a Bigfoot cave. Because, nothing says Bigfoot was here like a carefully crafted branch cave. What do you think is the truth behind the structure? Is it just some DIY project by an over-enthusiastic camper, or did Bigfoot pull a grand design move in the heart of the forest? A Facebook user posted this disturbing image that has left netizens scratching their heads. The person had taken a picture of the Pipestone monument, unaware of what was on top of the stone, until he took a second look at the image, and there it was. A strange-looking figure comes into view, standing at the edge of the rock and seemingly peering down. When the image is zoomed in, this mysterious figure takes on an otherworldly appearance, almost like a ghostly presence, pale face and long hair. Now, there is a cemetery not far from the area, so people believe that it could be the spirit of a native child standing there or another spirit from the cemetery. But what do you guys think? Embarking on a mysterious journey to the heart of the Babala forest in Brazil, a group of hikers stumble upon a chilling discovery. A lifeless creature lying in their path. Its skin was very pale, and its body resembled that of a bipedal being. But then, you never know these days with all the weird things happening. Looking at this creature, we have no idea what it could be or how it even got there. The residents of the area were alarmed by this finding and marked it as an omen and a sign of impending doom. Next, we have footage from a hiker in Utah who spotted a bizarre-looking creature walking through the woods. From the footage, we can tell that the creature had dark fur and stood about 7 feet tall. Unlike a Sasquatch, the creature had long arms that it used to move reminiscent of a gorilla. If you pay attention, you'll hear something odd when it moves. Sounds like metal, does it not? That's had me becoming skeptical about the whole thing. Why would a Sasquatch's footsteps sound metallic? It doesn't add up now, does it? We did the research and found out that there are times when hunters will wear a ghillie suit and move on stilts. Looking at the footage, I'm convinced that that's what we may be dealing with. What do you think? He's decided to take a breather in the woods and just have some fun. But imagine the terror of the woman when she spotted a huge creature among the trees. The creature had dark fur and bulging muscled arms. It was stalking the woman and her kids. The frightened woman called out for her kids to get inside. The creature, when it realized that it had been spotted, dashed off. It looked like a Bigfoot, but its head had this peculiar look that did not tally with our image of a Bigfoot. Its arms were also abnormally large and muscular. Yes, Bigfoot has large arms, but not like that. So what's the deal here? Is this Bigfoot's gym buddy or just another creature adding a dash of mystery to the woods? Not knowing what she was dealing with, this mom was not taking any chances as she made everyone move back into the vehicle. I'm no prophet, but I can bet that she and her kids won't be making plans for a woodland picnic anytime soon. Our narrative takes an otherworldly turn as we journey to Japan, where a peculiar incident has left onlookers baffled and intrigued. There was a strange structure captured in the sky. It looked like some sort of a pillar, and from that pillar, strange objects flew out. This looks like something ripped from the pages of a sci-fi script, where aliens come to Earth on a mothership that has smaller ships in it. Could that be the situation here? Because I don't think humans now have the technology to build structures in the sky. We're not quite there yet, so this leaves us with the lingering possibility that it could be an alien mothership. Now, before we label it a crazy theory, let's acknowledge that the world is full of mysteries and sometimes reality can be just as mind-bending as fiction. Now that's adorable, right? That's clearly a baby shark enjoying itself out there. But wait, it gets scary and quite upsetting really quickly. Yeah, I told you, that didn't last at all. The clip went from cute and cuddly to big and dangerous real quick. The wild is truly wild, and you don't want to mess with it. This is definitely an incredible and rare piece of footage. It's a shame that little one had to die, though. Now we have this popular yet very controversial footage from a couple of years ago. If I were to mention blood-sucking beings, what comes to mind? Vampires, right? But what if I told you there were other creatures known for sucking blood? Yes, that's right, vampires aren't the only ones. All these animals you were seeing had their blood sucked dry. Fortunately, the other blood-sucking creature has a taste for animals and not humans. It's a creature of legend known as a Chupacabra, and one such creature has been drinking the blood of the livestock on the farm these clips were captured. And how do we know for sure? The farmers managed to capture it in action, but just before they could make it pay for its sins, it got away. They're convinced it's the legendary Chupacabra, and we're leaning toward believing them. But what do you think? For our next footage, perhaps I should just allow you to watch it and tell me what you think. So, what do you think about the footage you've seen so far? You do see the trees in the background, don't you? And you do see the structure to the left side of the screen, right? As interesting as those things might be, they can't compare to the hairy creature. You see the hairy creature too, right? What is it? Well, no one can say for sure, but given the fact that the Trailcam capture is from a secluded area without any bears or apes, all who have seen the photo believe it's Bigfoot. Frankly, there's little evidence to prove or disprove it, so we're gonna sit out passing judgment for this one. Well, look at this mysterious bundle of joy. We've got a creature on our hands, and it's not exactly winning any beauty contests now, is it? After all, it's a hideous-looking creature that has the appearance of a baby. It also has very pale skin with razor-sharp teeth, spotting a strange smile that says, "I will eat you for dinner." Now, I don't know about you, but I'm seriously questioning who or what decided to create this little bundle of nightmares. Was it Mother Nature being sinister, or did some mad scientists decide to hit the create creepy baby button in their secret lab? Share your thoughts. In this video clip, an unknown person behind a red, black, and white jet ski captures a life-changing moment. A sudden explosion on a waterborne structure while dangling waist down in the water. The explosion doesn't just impact one part of the structure, it spreads across both the water and the structure itself, creating a mix of colors from orange to red, accompanied by smoke. This makes the recorder jump abruptly in search of cover in the water. Perhaps he didn't jump and was simply thrown off by the sheer force of the explosion. It's beyond frightening. What do you think could have caused this unfortunate event? Does anyone know where it happened? Were there losses of lives, including marine life? Please educate us in the comments section. Next, we have a curious case from downtown Flint, Michigan. Take a look. The footage was sent in by a man who was more excited than he was knowledgeable about what he'd discovered. Nestled in the tree on your screen is a hard structure that looks like a stone with markings from ancient times. But from what we can tell based on the footage, the stone is buried deep in the ground as far as the roots go. The man claims this tree has been around for possibly 200 years or more. If that's true, how on earth did this thing end up inside the tree? Could it be a structure, perhaps from an ancient civilization, mysteriously embedded in the tree's core? It's hard to say, but my money is on that as the potential outcome. A group of men found this strange-looking creature that looked like a snake with 4 limbs. Critically inspecting it, one can tell that it's indeed very strange and unlike any reptile we've ever seen. It's what someone would describe as a hybrid of a snake and a lizard. Its long neck is crooked, but unlike your typical snake, this thing doesn't go all out with the tongue action. It keeps it classy, tongue firmly in its mouth. You can't really tell if this creature is legit chill and just vibing with the guys. It could also be scared out of its wits because, well, let's be real, imagine being discovered by a bunch of dudes. You could be giving them the side eye too, right? Now, that's what I call dedication to the extraterrestrial aesthetic. This man's lying down perfectly still, as a tattoo artist works their magic, creating a masterpiece right on his skin. It's not just any tattoo. Oh no, this is a full-body extravaganza featuring none other than an alien creature set against the backdrop of a vibrant, swirling galaxy. Talk about out of this world. You can't help but be struck by the sheer artistry and creativity on display. The intricate details of the alien's otherworldly features, the mesmerizing swirls of colors that make up the galaxy, it's a sight to behold, to say the least. Would any of you get this done? And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Oh yeah, before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and we'll see you in the next one.